And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alien Spaceship stream. You could be watching from anywhere around the country or the world. I really appreciate every single one of you. Coming to you from the Spaceship Studios from a galaxy far, far away. And going this way. Alright, so at this point in time, we'll be reacting to the Clinton deposition again. And here we go. We'll be now switching over this way. Alright, let's go here.
Great times that he had with Jeffrey
No.
Epstein?
No, and at the time, I didn't put any, sexual spin on it.
And as far as you recall, President Trump characterized the nature of the ending of their friendship as being solely due to the real estate
That's
bidding
what he
problem.
said.
Thank you.
But I didn't think much about it at the time. And, it was 2 minutes and then we were gone.
As far as you recall, have you had any other conversations with President Trump related to Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell?
No,
And your best recollection, if you have one, of the year that this conversation occurred?
be 2002 or 2003.
Thank you.
But
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon. I just want to focus again on Ghislaine Maxwell. First, I'll ask you just to reiterate, did you ever at any point during your interactions with Ms. Maxwell know about the sexual abuse she committed and facilitated against minors and women?
no,
When did you learn that she had engaged in crimes against girls and young women?
when the first evidence came out, when was it, in 2019?
Okay. And have you ever engaged in sexual activity with a person introduced to you by Ghislaine Maxwell?
No,
You're aware that she was convicted of crimes, as we discussed, and you're aware that she's currently incarcerated as a result of her federal conviction.
yes,
Maxwell received a 20-year sentence for her crimes. Are you aware that she has repeatedly called on President Trump to grant her clemency, and that she has said that you and President Trump are not guilty of any wrongdoing with respect to Epstein?
I know that now, yes.
In your opinion, does she deserve or should she be granted clemency by President Trump?
I don't think I should comment on that. I don't know anything about President Trump other than what I've already told you.
Good.
And I thought that was a mistake to pardon everybody in the January 6th case. And I think that this thing was really hard for me when it came out because we had been friendly with Ghislaine. I was sad, but it was terrible what she did, and she has to be punished. Somebody besides me should make a decision on what it is. So she got 20 years, and there it is.
Okay. Mr. President, on July 24th, 2025, the Deputy Attorney General and President Trump's former personal attorney, Todd Blanche, conducted a closed-door interview of Ms. Maxwell at her then low-security prison. On August 1st, 2025, just a few days after that interview, she was transferred to a lower security prison where she's afforded a list of amenities, personalized meals, playtime with puppies, a transfer that I think most Americans agree is inconsistent with a very serious crime she was convicted of. Do you have any opinion on her transfer to that lower security prison and the amenities she's been granted? Did it seem strange to you when you learned of that?
I think you're in a better position to find out what happened than I am.
Okay. When you were President of the United States, was it common for your Deputy Attorney General to directly conduct interviews of witnesses and/or federal inmates?
Was it? You were there.
No.
You have to testify what you know,
He's
what you
asking-
recall.
Yes, he's
You
asking,
recall if it
did you
was-
ever send a deputy attorney general to
To the
interview?
best of my knowledge, I did not do that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
May I ask a question? Representative Foster, you're still the youngest person in Congress?
Yes, I am, Mr. President.
Lucky you.
Hopefully that changes soon. If you're the youngest for too long, it's not good.
There'll come a time, believe me. I was for most of my life the youngest person doing whatever I was doing. And one day I woke up, I was the oldest man in every room, and I couldn't tell you for the life of me how I got from one place to the other. Time will take care of it. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Thank you, thank you. It's a blessing to be the oldest person in the room as well. Mr. President, I just wanted to circle back to the conversation around the conversation you had with Jeffrey Epstein on the golf, or with Donald Trump on the golf course in New York. You know, President Trump has said publicly multiple times that his falling out with Jeffrey Epstein was the result of him hiring away workers from Mar-a-Lago and his crimes. He said that's why he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. You brought up, I have two questions about this. Did President Trump specifically characterize the result of this land dispute they had as a falling out specifically, to the best of
Yeah,
your-
he said they both wanted the same piece of land. He didn't say what it was, and that's all I remember.
And he said it was a falling out as a result of that.
Yeah, said it strained their relationship.
Do you know when this conversation happened?
When the conversation I had with him happened, well, it had to be in 2002 or 2003, I think.
2002 to 2003. All right, thank you. During any of your interactions with Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell, did either of them ever mention or discuss their relationships or connections with Howard Lutnick?
No,
What about their relationship or connection with Alex Acosta?
no,
Prior to Jeffrey Epstein's arrest in 2019, did anyone ever speak with you about Epstein's relationship with Howard Lutnick?
no,
And what about Alex Acosta?
no.
Okay, thank you. Those are my questions.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
I'm Melanie Stansbury. I represent New Mexico's 1st Congressional District, and it's an honor to have you and your council here. This is a very important investigation, and we obviously have a lot of questions. And for me personally, this case is all about justice for the victims. And I really appreciated in your opening statements, your statement about nobody being above the law, including a president. And I think it's important that we are setting the precedent for Congress establishing oversight and subpoena power over a president. And I believe Donald Trump should and will ultimately be in front of this body. And I also appreciate what you said about women and girls who were abused by Jeffrey Epstein deserving justice and healing. And that's where I'd like to focus my questions. And in particular, I want to focus on 3 survivors who have shared stories that involve you. So I want to begin with Maria Farmer. Do you know who Maria Farmer is? Maria Farmer was employed by Jeffrey Epstein and abused by him for a number of years. And she first reported her abuse to the New York PD and FBI in 1996. And she states that she has personal knowledge that you visited Jeffrey Epstein's house 3 to 4 times while you were the sitting president between 1995 and 1996. And she says she knows this based on photographs that Ghislaine Maxwell showed to her, as well as discussions with the staff. So let me ask you, Mr. President, did you visit Jeffrey Epstein's house while you were president?
I do not remember doing that. I do not believe I did.
How do you explain this discrepancy?
Objection, calls for him to speculate.
I can't speculate. But all I can tell you is I don't remember being there.
Okay. Moving on to Virginia Roberts Jr.
Notice how he says he does not remember being there. He doesn't really deny if he was or wasn't. He just doesn't remember. Similar to like what we were talking about yesterday, how he's kind of like in the trials where they say they don't recall something, but they may have done it, possibly. Yeah.
Frey, are you familiar with her? As has already been established, she has stated in numerous sworn statements, including a sworn deposition in the Maxwell trial, that she saw you on the island with Jeffrey Epstein. And in fact, this morning, her family shared her diary with me. And in it is a quote wherein she writes, quote, Bill Clinton met 2 times island with 2 girls, CT, GM, and JE. What is your reaction to that?
It's not true.
Do you have any dates associated with that? Were there dates on the diary? With
I don't have that information, but we'll be happy to share it with you.
Would be terrific, because I think there are also records that would reflect where else he would have been. So thanks.
Did she say that in her book?
This is from her personal diary that her family shared with us.
But the book came out more recently. Did she say that in the book?
I'm just reading you the entry from her diary that her family shared with me.
I think she ultimately reached a different conclusion, although I had no contact with her.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure that it's on the record that is Virginia Giuffre's statement. Did you ever fly in a helicopter with Ghislaine Maxwell?
Ever, anywhere? I have no idea.
Okay, well, at least one of the survivors claims that you flew in a helicopter with Ghislaine Maxwell to the island.
Did you ever?
Then I did not do that. I've never been to that island.
Okay. The third person I want to talk about briefly is Shantae Davies. I know we've already mentioned her here today. I know you've already mentioned that she was listed as a flight attendant on the trip to South Africa in 2002 that you took with Jeffrey Epstein. Are you aware that Shantae Davies is a survivor who claims she was abused for 3 years, including during that time period?
I am now.
And are you aware that Jeffrey Epstein recruited his victims through calling them masseuses?
No.
You're not aware that Jeffrey...
But it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I didn't know that, no.
Knowing that Jeffrey Epstein recruited...
Hello, Moki. Welcome to the stream. And yeah, we are watching the Clinton deposition. Yeah, so he was making a reference. Oh, they're getting creamed again. Oh, scared. Well, hopefully it can turn around for them, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going too well from what you're telling me. Especially yesterday, it didn't go well either. And yeah, with Clinton, they're asking him about Trump, and he didn't know of Trump doing anything nefarious. They had a falling out over a piece of land when they're mentioning about Trump. And then this part, they're asking him about these survivors saw him on these different flights. Yes. Yeah, we'll watch the rest. And he just doesn't remember going on a flight, going on the helicopter rides with her, or going to his house, which is kind of like when we see in the trials, they say, I don't recall. It's a similar type of concept, and it's, mysterious. It's like, is he hiding something? It's kind of odd. Yeah. And he claims he's never been on the island, he said. All right. And now continuing.
Hundreds of minors as masseuses to massage him, and knowing that this victim, who was a survivor 3 years of his sexual abuse as a masseuse, was on the plane, does that make you think about the massage you received from her differently?
Can I just interrupt? You're saying you know that. He was saying that he was unaware that that's how Mr. Epstein was recruiting his individuals.
I'm asking if today, hearing this...
Have you seen the picture?
I have a copy of it right here. Yes.
Well, I'm sitting up and
I'm just asking if now that you know that Jeffrey Epstein recruited girls as masseuses, does that reframe that photograph, and knowing that there were girls on the plane that were being abused?
Objection. It states facts not in the record. You can ask this witness what he thinks or remembers about anything that happened, but I don't think it's right to ask him to speculate.
She wants to know if I feel bad about it, yes.
I'm not, I think
Don't you?
what I'm trying to get at is that there is a culture that surrounded Jeffrey Epstein in which rich and powerful people saw young women that were survivors who were being abused and didn't say anything and didn't do anything. And
So is your
part
question-
of what I'm, hold on, part of what I'm trying to do is to ask you, we know there was a survivor that was on the plane. You've stated that you didn't know she was a survivor. I understand that, but I'm asking now that you are aware that Epstein was recruiting survivors as masseuses, does this make you rethink what you saw?
Yeah, facts, mermaid. Yeah, because they're asking him about the massages that he got, and because that's what Epstein did. He had a whole business about getting clients to get the massages. And going through the files, I was seeing how he would have these different secretaries that would talk to these clients, and a lot of people were flying to the island. Moki says, howdy, Miranda. Facts. Shout out the chat. And it was so crazy. So when you have these massage business going on, a lot of them were underage or victims of doing like creepy activities. So that is the thing that he was being asked about, because having a massage is a sign that it could be linked to something else that they were doing with that. And we know about the rabbit hole of adrenochrome and the rituals on the island we talked about, which really is down the rabbit hole. But yeah, this is the tip of the iceberg right here. And he doesn't recall these things. Yes, his interrogation was wild. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, and he knew they were young. Yeah, and that's why he doesn't know about going to the house or going to the helicopter flight. It's he's being mysterious about it. Yeah, they knew these rich, powerful older men. Yeah.
As you were traveling and interacting with him.
So he has already
Hello, Rita. Good evening. Welcome to the chat. We are talking about Slick Willy right here and his dealings with Epstein, right? And we're reacting to this together.
Saw as you were traveling and interacting with him.
So he has already spoken to. Wait a minute. I want to make sure that you are clearly answering her question. He's already stated what he saw and what he knew. And so what you're now asking him is, given what you've now shared with him, does he think any differently about what he
Yes.
saw and what he knew? Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I wish Shantae had told me. I liked her. But I didn't think it was anything unusual. I can't tell you how many airplanes I've been on where rich people asked me to go and they had someone offering a massage. All these boats that you go on and all that, they all do that. And usually I don't do that. I'm not into this.
Well, that certainly raises some other questions about people offering free massages on boats, etc. But I do want to enter a couple of exhibits into the record, and I know council is prepared to pass them out. And while that is occurring, we're going to introduce this exhibit.
Yeah, you see, because she is asking about it, because he must have done it before with other groups with the massages. And Rita has a question for Moki. Hi, how are ya? To Moki. And, okay, thank you, Rita, for your question. And continuing.
What is it? Exhibit I, it'll be Minority Exhibit I, which is a FBI PowerPoint that was included in the files that were released as part of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And then I would like to introduce this exhibit, which is Exhibit J, which is a internal correspondence emails between the FBI. And though I'm short
Where it said he's guilty because he did several things wrong before this, like the oral with Monica. Yeah, you see, that was something he seems to have lied about too. And it's like, what's going on here? It's like, bro, you are completely have a history, a track record of these things, and now this happens, and he's saying he doesn't know what's going on. It's like, we know that there could be something up here. Definitely.
On time, what I'll describe in both these exhibits is that your name appears in FBI tip sheets as having attended parties in Jeffrey Epstein's presence in which sexual activities were occurring. Did you ever attend a party of any kind or an event with Jeffrey Epstein in which sexual activities were occurring? Okay. And then finally, there will be many millions of people that watch this deposition. What would you like to say to the survivors directly?
That I hope this will produce a sense of finality. And I don't think that'll happen till the government starts holding on to all the records. I think that, the record should be released. And then I think that we need to come up with strategies to help people who can't get over this get better. And the most important thing we do, I think, besides treat the victims right, is increase the guardrails.
Yeah, they want to figure out what they knew about Epstein and if they were involved in any criminal activity. So, yeah, it was just asking them both if they were on his island, if they were doing stuff with children. They asked Hillary Clinton about Pizzagate, and the other conspiracy theories about UFOs, and yeah, they're just asking them like if they were involved in any crimes and what do they know about these things. Yeah. Exactly. Everybody knows that it's true, Mermaid, at this point. The whole internet knows now that, and the whole world knows what the true intentions of these people were. No credibility, right?
That will set off alarm systems and stop other people from doing the same thing Epstein did.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We had an additional member join us in the interim. Could that member just identify themselves?
Absolutely. Hello, Mr. President. My name is Nick Lankerty. I represent New York's 23rd Congressional District, Buffalo suburbs, rural southern tier. Thank you for being here today.
Can you just, for the record, the time checks?
We've got about 5 minutes left in this round.
Thank you.
Yeah, as far as I know, there's no charges brought against them at this moment, but there could, if there was any evidence or proof or anything, there could be. They were talking in this about some witnesses that were claiming that he was doing stuff, and he was in the house, and he was on the island, but he claims that he was not. He doesn't remember being at the house, and he was never on the island. So is he being truthful or not is up for debate, and I don't mind anybody that was involved with him going through deposition to really figure out what the truth was.
Thank you so much.
I think it's fine. Congressman, how are you?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for being here and for your time today. Thank you for your service. We have, as you know, in the files that were released, there were several photos, included you, and we have an exhibit here. That's just one of the photos. And Exhibit K, Minority Exhibit K.
Yep.
And we'll have that passed around. And what we're trying to get at is some context for the public on whether you remember this photo.
I know, right? There's pictures of him in the Epstein files that I have personally seen, that he was with this Epstein dude a lot, and there's a picture of him getting a massage by a young girl. I don't know what her age was, but there is a picture of that. So he was also in a swimming pool, and he said he went in there for 2 minutes and got out and went to bed. It's kind of like, I don't know who just goes there and then goes to bed. It's kind of like scared. It's like who is that? But it's not really, but it's actually just Willy right here. Yeah. And he was with Maxwell a lot. And so one thing about Epstein is he wanted to blackmail people, and he did that a lot to try to blackmail officials. And there's different conspiracy theories that say like foreign countries want policies done, or they want, or organizations or people with motives. So they'll go blackmail a president or blackmail someone in a company. Like, oh, you were taking a picture with this kid right here, so you do what we want you to do. And then it's unfortunate, but that's what this Epstein dude was doing, from what I can gather. Like, there's a picture of Mick Jagger and Clinton with a redacted female that was underage, but this is what they do, is that you could get a girl and like a 15-year-old or whatever and make her look 23, but that people may not necessarily know that at the time, right? And it is what it is anyway, and that's the way they did blackmail. And there's people obviously that were creeps that were seeking out underage girls because of their crazy fantasies, and a lot of it was a massage business that he was doing. So yeah, and he was he wanted to come off as an affluent Timu person that would go and give billions of dollars and millions of dollars to charity organizations and foundations, and he wanted clients and to donate to people that were very wealthy. This was part of his scheme, and Epstein is a con man, all right? He's a con artist, and he was able to con his way through his life. So, yeah, and that's just give you all like an explanation about what these people did and what they were doing. And Trump was explaining one time. Now, Bill was saying in this deposition that Trump had a falling out because of a property they both had, a property they both wanted. Now, Trump himself was talking about there was this incident where there's some young girls around Epstein, and he thought it was creepy, and he wanted to get away from him. And he kicked him out Mar-a-Lago, and he called the FBI on him. And if there was really something that Orange Man Trump did, it's like, I don't know why he would call him out, because he would be calling himself out. But I think it's good this administration was able to get this information on the table. And yeah, and that's good that he, exposed him, because somebody can know a person. For instance, like Ted Bundy's an example I use a lot, where people didn't know he was murdering women in the woods at night. Although he was kind of weird, people thought there was something wrong with him, but they didn't know exactly what it was. But you could know something is not right with somebody, and unfortunately, you can know somebody that's doing something wrong. So this situation, people could have known Epstein and didn't know about his other crimes that he was doing, but some of them did. All right, a lot of them did. They could have all been involved with it, especially if they're actively going to an island or hanging out with them. It's a little bit weird. So yeah, these people are very suspicious that are involved with this.
And any details you may be able to provide us about it. So do you recall the details of this photo, or recall the photo being taken?
No, I don't think I ever knew the photo was taken.
Okay, and for those who can't see it, it's a photo of you in a hot tub. There's a person next to you here. Do you remember where it was taken? Where was it taken?
I'm almost sure that this pic, and I think there's an adjacent photograph, which you probably have, that if people saw it, they would feel that someone was trying to con them showing this picture. But anyway.
Very well said, Moki. And Oki said Epstein was a Mossad operative. Mossad is Israeli CIA. Yes, and I know a lot about Israel from, I've learned a lot about it growing up, let's say. And with Mossad is an organization in Israel that is like their Secret Service, their CIA, their FBI, and they're known to do a lot of activities with espionage, etc. So and the theory is that, which we know for a fact, that Maxwell was a Mossad operative, and Epstein was too, and Epstein was friends with Barak, a Israeli prime minister, and the theory is that they want to blackmail the, different people into doing things. They could do that. So yes, and inside their government, it's just been proven in the documents that he was connected with Mossad, and that is the link that many people have been pointing out that is very suspicious about what exactly were they wanting to do, or what was the problem. And yeah, that's something that he was involved with. And other countries too, were different officials from different countries knew Epstein as well, in Saudi Arabia and Europe, and he wanted Eastern Europe too. When he was with Barack, which was a Israeli prime minister, he was this of trying to get with Putin to influence Putin too, and get influence into Russia. He did get a lot of Eastern European women from Russia and Eastern Europe in general, but that's what he did. But he didn't quite get with Putin, from what I can gather. But yeah, that's what the operative. So you have the country of Israel, then you have their different, just like how we have a deep state. This other place has like their own deep state with Mossad, and was involved with this guy Epstein. So yeah, that's which would ring around the bell on top of the blackmail of campaign with high officials. And now we are continuing.
This picture was taken in Brunei. And we flew one night on a trip to Asia, the last very long leg.
You said we, who is that including?
Well, my TEL team that was working
Thank you.
on the AIDS issue, and Mr. Epstein was there, and
Okay.
Miss Maxwell. But anyway, we got to the end of the flight was Brunei. It's a tiny place, but a very wealthy one. And the Sultan of Brunei was a man that I had gotten to know well in my 8 years as president. And his first involvement with international matters was basically to join the Asian Pacific Economic Leaders Conference, which I started and which he attended. And then he was very proud of that, and he hosted, his time came to host it. You do these things in a rotation. And it came either at the very end of my term or maybe the next year. Anyway, he wanted, when he knew I was coming, and he said he wanted to help me with my AIDS initiative, and he invited me to stay there. And he said, I want you to stay at this hotel, and I hope you'll use the pool. So I did, and then I got out and went to bed, exhausted.
Just for the record, there's another picture that also shows this as part of the larger pool area. Do you all have that so that he can refresh his recollection with respect to that?
We should have it. It's quite enlightening. If you watch this,
Yes, it's noted.
it'll
Yes.
give you a different feel.
Thank you.
Okay.
We don't have it with us right now.
Okay,
We do.
thanks. I just
have
wanted
it
to
as
make
well.
sure he knew the
And so
context.
were there other people in that pool or hot tub with you as well?
I don't think there's anybody in the hot tub. I didn't forgotten that there was anybody in the hot tub, but it was big, but it was about,
Well, there's
He's asking in the pool
it appears
area,
this photo, there's a girl over here, or there's someone.
yeah, I don't know who that is.
but he's also asking in the pool area were there other
Yes,
individuals?
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so you don't know?
No, and then there were other people in the pool.
Okay, so do you remember were they under 18? Would you
No.
know? No.
Were they part of your traveling party, he's asking you?
Yes, they were, I think. I think everybody there was part of our party. It was late at night or late-ish. And I also believe that there was a Secret Service agent there at the other end of the pool.
Okay, and was this in public?
No, it was a hotel room, and the Sultan wanted us to stay there, and the water, this big pool, was on the same floor that there were several suites, and so We went out, I swam around, I sat in the hot tub for 5 minutes, or whatever it was, and I got up and went to bed.
And then I have to ask this: did you engage in any sexual activity
No.
with this person?
Yeah, exactly. He definitely did the deed with somebody. Yeah. Yeah. And all right, and let's see. Wait, let's do there. And let's see.
Thank you.
Okay. And that ends this round, and we can go off the record.
All right, now it's off record. Scared. Now it's majority questions.
All right, we'll go back on the record.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Ready to go?
Yep, we'll start with Representative.
Wonderful. Hello, Mr. President. How are you?
Fine.
Good. Thank you so much for being here with
Thank you
us.
for being hoarse.
Oh, you're fine, Mr. President. Mr. President, I want to make my questions as quick and as painless as possible so we can move on with the day and hopefully not keep you here for too long. First question I have for you, Mr. President. Have you relied on in a deposition? Mr. President, how are you?
All right, now just for everybody, for the record, this is some facts about for the Israeli intelligence of these are some of the Epstein links for those watching, listening, of where the sources come from for that, by the way. Okay, so 2020 FBI memo released, the 2026 cited confidential sources which claim that Epstein was co-opted a Mossad agent trained as a spy. The source alleges that Epstein's longtime lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, had been co-opted by the agency too. Ehud Barak relationship. Epstein met with the former Prime Minister Ehud Barak dozens of times between 2013 and 2017. Reports indicate that Epstein acted as informal diplomatic fixer, brokering security arguments between Israel, Mongolia, and arranging back channels with Russian officials during the Syrian war. Intelligence, the sweethearts deal. Former U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta reportedly told White House officials that he was instructed to give Epstein a lenient 2008 plea deal because Epstein belonged to intelligence. Robert Maxwell connections. Robert Maxwell, the father of Epstein's associate Ghislaine Maxwell, was suspected Mossad asset. Some analysts suggest Robert Maxwell introduced Epstein to Israeli leadership as a sleeper for the influence campaigns. Strategic investments. Epstein invested his facilitated connections with Israeli-linked firms like the Carbony founded with Barak and Palantir, which are deeply involved in surveillance and government data agency analytics. And Benjamin Netanyahu denies these links and arguing that Epstein's ties to his political rival Ehud Barak actually disproves the theory. But as I said, just like with our government, there's different factions in it. He was part of some sort of faction of the Israeli intelligence. This is just what's there. So this was all based on things in the files and just facts also. And maybe not right this moment, but he was at a time, right? The Naftali Bennett, former Prime Minister Bennett, has dismissed the link as totally false, but yeah, it doesn't mean every single person knew or was involved with him, but he definitely had links with Mossad and a prime minister at that time. And there's some speculations Epstein himself might even be there now. So over there, but yeah, I think which is Saudi Arabia. There's the Sultan in Saudi Arabia. There's some links in Eastern Europe. Any of these countries, including Israel, that have some sort of link with him, which is all over a global network, need to be shown to the light. So yes, so chat, this is the information. about his links to these different countries, which are out there, and Israel specifically. All right, and now continuing. A great minds think alike. Right? Yeah, he's probably over there right now as we chat. All right, and continuing.
Fine.
Good. Thank you so much for being here with
Thank you
us.
for being hoarse.
Oh, you're fine, Mr. President. Mr. President, I want to make my questions as quick and as painless as possible so we can move on with the day and hopefully not keep you here for too long. First question I have for you, Mr. President. Have you ever lied in a deposition?
No,
Have you ever lied while under oath?
no,
Thank you. Were you personally aware that Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House 17 times during your presidency?
at the time it happened?
Yes.
No, at the time it happened, I was not.
Do you know, so Jeffrey Epstein never asked to meet with you personally in the White House while you were president during those 17 visits?
Not to my knowledge.
Would you know who he was meeting with?
No,
Okay,
I
well,
didn't know he was coming.
is that standard protocol for the president to not know of someone who is attending, visiting the White House 17 times
So wait, excuse me, just to be clear.
while you were
The
president?
White House office, which has 1,600 employees.
Okay, so this is the information, Rita. So, while it has not been widely quoted directly addressing Epstein, did he delete himself, kill himself? Theory husband, former President Bill Clinton, recently testified that has accepted it in his own mind that Epstein has committed suicide, although he acknowledged that none of us know for certain. So, Bill Clinton was the one that said, we do not know for certain what really happened, but he accepted that he killed himself. All right, so that is the answer right there. He thinks that he could possibly be alive, but he accepted what they say about him deleting himself. There is a treaty, I think Israel has a thing where they can't extradite their citizens to the United States for crimes. Right. And you're welcome, Rita.
You're speaking of the White House office. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I think that most presidents don't have a clue who's coming in every day unless it's somebody of personal interest to the president.
Yes, and you did have a familiar relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, correct?
No, I didn't. I wasn't aware I'd ever met him when I was president.
While you were president. We are trying to establish if Jeffrey Epstein was a foreign or potentially even a domestic asset of some kind. Do you have any reason to believe that he was trying to seek access to classified materials, intelligence reports, or sensitive government information?
No, I knew nothing about this story until it came up. I was glad to see that picture of the
Yes, and Mr.
passport.
President, sorry to interrupt you. Mr. President, since knowing Jeffrey Epstein and knowing that he had visited the White House, were there any conversations from your associates, any White House staff, or anyone familiar with the meetings that said he was seeking detailed information about government relationships?
Does that question relate to back in the day or now? What's the time of the question?
I'm asking, since you have been aware, any time since after you were aware that Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House 17 times, has there been any conversations with anyone that you are aware of that Jeffrey Epstein was seeking sensitive government information?
That's to the best of your recollection.
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And moving on, at any time while you were traveling on any aircraft owned, leased, or otherwise affiliated with Jeffrey Epstein, did you engage in sexual relations or sexual activities with anyone other than your wife?
No.
During any such flight, did you witness or have knowledge of any other individual engaging in sexual activities with any female passengers?
No.
In 2002, you participated in a 10-day multi-country trip to Africa while traveling on a Boeing 727 owned by Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. This trip was organized by Ghislaine Maxwell. Do you recall this trip, Mr. President?
I recall the trip, but I don't know that it was organized by Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yes,
I
sir.
believe we were going places that I needed to go for my work in Africa.
Yes, sir. Internal FBI records describe the aircraft as having a section with couches adjacent to which a sliding glass door leading to another compartment. There was a bed. Are you familiar with the layout of this aircraft that you traveled on?
I'm familiar with the fact that there was a bench that turned into a bed at the end of the passenger seats.
And no other bed you are familiar with? Did you ever go into any part of the aircraft with a bed that you perhaps lied on or utilized?
I'm familiar with the bench.
Yes.
It turned into the bed.
Yes.
I do not believe I ever went into the back section.
At any time while traveling on such aircraft, do you remember utilizing either the bench that laid? I'll keep it as one option for now. Do you remember utilizing the bench as a bed? Was it laid out as a
Do you
bed?
remember?
I don't remember, but that doesn't mean I didn't. I'm familiar with the note.
Yes, sir. FBI internal records relay testimony from Dr. Greg Bledsoe, who participated on the 2002 Africa trip. Did Dr. Bledsoe describe multiple millionaires? Dr. Bledsoe does describe multiple millionaires and billionaires on the plane. Do you remember any of the names of those individuals, potentially even the actor Kevin Spacey?
Yeah, Kevin was on the plane.
Did Dr. Bledsoe also describe, he also describes multiple young women were present on the flights and that Maxwell appeared to be in a position over the girls on the plane and was directing the girls. Can you describe the purpose of these women participating in this multi-country
Objection to
trip?
form of the question. You have no objection to you asking the president what he saw, observed, heard, but he can't possibly speak to what Maxwell was in her mind.
Did you witness, Mr. President, Ms. Maxwell appearing to be in the position over other girls on the plane and possibly directing the girls?
Well, I thought that she was Epstein's top aide and that she was basically in charge of what happened.
What did happen, Mr. President?
I don't know. I mean, I've already told you this. I'll tell again. I never saw anybody do anything wrong. I thought they were flight attendants.
Do flight attendants typically wear tank tops and jeans?
They don't all wear uniforms on private planes.
Yes, sir. Most are dressed probably pretty business class.
So
Moving on.
His testimony was, with respect to private aircraft, people are not wearing uniforms.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Dr. Bledsoe described at least one of the girls serving as a masseuse. At any point, did you or other male passengers receive a massage from this young woman or any other young women who are described as a masseuse?
Well, I've seen one picture that shows that in a airport waiting area.
All right, so Dr. Bledsoe was Clinton's personal physician. (2002) trip. Bledsoe was a very young physician, just months out of the residency at the time he was hired, and provide medical support for Clinton during the humanitarian in Africa. appearing to be in charge of young women on the plane, teaching them decorum. Oh, wow. Thank you for that very much. That definitely is mind-opening right there. Yep, that's facts. Yeah, what an operation indeed. Placido was assigned to accompany Clinton on the 10-day humanitarian trip. He was chosen for the mission through his fellowship of international emergency medicine at Johns Hopkins University, which had a contract with U.S. Secret Service to provide medical support for former presidents and dignitaries. Lancido noted that the Secret Service agent on the trip also felt something was off about Epstein. Yeah, because Epstein gives off some, like, a very dark vibes to him. Yeah, it's like something, like, it's creepy about him. His smile is real exaggerated, too. He smiles like a reptile. No pun intended. And, yep, that's true. And now continuing.
One of the
masseuse. Other young women who are described as a masseuse.
Well, I've seen one picture that shows that in a airport waiting area, one of the women was massaging my neck. That's all I've seen.
Have you received more than one massage from these trips with Mr. Epstein and the young girls that were present?
I don't recall them, but the problem I remember from that trip was that my neck had spasmed and I was in, and so they offered to help and I let them help. One left.
She asked whether or not you recalled any other massage
No, I
trips.
do not.
Thank you.
Placido did the right thing and contacted the FBI. Yeah. Shout out to Placido. It's, this is some really creepy stuff, and it's good that he contacted the proper authorities when this weird stuff is going on. You got these young girls doing massages, and this creepy Joker smiling reptile dude is there. It's like, what are we doing? What's going on? So it's a bunch of creepiness, right? Yeah, and you see with Bill right here, Bill is saying right here that he doesn't remember the other ladies or what was going on. It's but I know, in my opinion, he does remember. I know definitely an eye roll what Bill is saying here.
Mr. President, moving on to my next question. Submitted to the record, we have a painting that seems to be of you, Mr. President, found in one of Jeffrey Epstein's residences, wearing a, I would categorize it as a famous blue dress worn by the White House intern Monica Lewinsky. And I have this image here. This image is being passed around. If we need to go off the record while we do that, we can.
I can take a picture. Do you have a question?
It will be
Yeah, I do.
marked as Majority Exhibit 15. Proceed.
Thank you. So, Mr. President, we are looking at an image of a portrait that is looks to be you, Mr. President, in this blue dress. Can you describe this painting? And
He doesn't need to describe the painting. You just gave him a picture. What's your question?
my question is, are you familiar with this painting? Have you ever seen it in person?
I've never seen it in person.
Do you know why someone would paint this
Are you asking him to
Objection.
speculate?
That's calls for speculation. You can ask the artist.
And if I had known Jeffrey Epstein had this painting, it would have saved me this whole day.
Did you ever introduce Epstein to Monica Lewinsky or any other young female White House
I
staffers?
did not.
Did Epstein ever request introductions to young female intern staffers of you?
Yeah, there's a picture of him with Bill Clinton with a blue dress on, a painting of him in a blue dress. That's some cliche stuff right there, indeed.
Did he request you to introduce them? And one regarding this exhibit 15, this portrait, to the right of this image, there appears to be a plain letterhead document that is framed in a gold frame. Are you familiar with
That he's testified that he's not seen this picture?
the painting? We asked, yes, and now I'm asking about the image next to it. So,
Are you asking whether or not he's familiar with what's in this small frame?
I'm the part that you have covered up.
This part?
I'm asking if he's familiar with this letterhead letter that was
letterhead that we can
hand.
Is this
Wait.
part of the painting?
No, sir. This is next to the painting, and it's framed on the wall in the home of Jeffrey Epstein. I guess a better way to ask, other than the birthday note that was passed around here today for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday, Mr. President, did you ever handwrite Jeffrey Epstein any other notes?
Well, I wouldn't remember except that I've seen a picture recently of another note where I thank him for getting me away from the crowd on the airplane for a while so I could take a nap.
Yes. Okay, Mr. President.
Yeah, his lawyer is trying to is not really doing a good job at concealing what she's doing. Like, she's trying to stop him from exposing himself any further, and it shows that he's doing a lot of stuff that she thinks is questionable, or she's just extremely pushy and controlling. She keeps on moving his hand around, and it's like it's trying to move the puppet strings.
President, I just have two more questions for you, and then I will let you go. And again, I'm so grateful for your time here today. We also have another exhibit from the committee, and it's page 49, I believe, and the, how do you want to classify this one?
They'll give it
It
to
will
us.
be marked as Majority Exhibit 16.
In this is a portion.
She's trying to help him. Yeah, he's getting a little bit too excitable, and she's trying to also, if he wants like a piece of paper or whatever, she's like there to like assist him. All right. Yeah, so that's according to chat, and from my observation too, I agree. Yeah. All right. I noticed he has an Apple Watch on.
Of Virginia Giuffre and her testimony, and in it, she is referencing you, Mr. President, and says he, Mr. Clinton, told me long ago that everyone owes him favors. They are all in each other's pockets. She's asked, I'm sorry, maybe that wasn't you that you was referencing, Clinton. I'll start over. He told me long ago that everyone owes him favors. I believe that's referring to Mr. Epstein. They're all in each other's pockets.
Sorry, could you, what line are you starting at?
Yes, ma'am. I am starting at the first line, and I do believe I incorrectly said that she was referencing Mr. Clinton. So.
Oki says Hillary probably cussed him out after she saw this. Yes, absolutely. She had enough. She does that in a regular day, so I'm sure she exploded like a volcano on him. Yeah.
To correct that.
So she's not referencing.
Correct.
She's not
referencing
referencing
Mr.
President
Clinton.
Clinton. She's referencing instead who?
I believe this is Jeffrey Epstein that she is referencing here.
Thank you, Ms. Bobo.
Thank you. And then she's asked, would you say you asked him why Bill Clinton was here? And Virginia responds on the island, where he was here, on the island. And she goes on to say,
Excuse me, can you clarify who JS is?
can we look and see who JS is?
This says V and then it says
Yes.
JS, so
Yes,
is this
I will get you that name.
But this is a
Here, I can pull it
conversation
up right
between
here.
two people, or is this a
Yes,
transcript of a deposition?
This is a transcript of a deposition, yes.
Thank you so
ma'am.
much.
It says telecon at the top. Doesn't appear to be a deposition.
It says,
What do we
Telecon.
have this as?
I'm not objecting.
No, that's fine, and we could go off the record if you want, just to get this.
I don't have this.
So this is, go ahead.
We'll go off the
I think
record.
there's
Okay, now they're going off record. Okay.
We can go back on the record.
Thank you very much. And this is a long dialogue between Mr. Jack Scarola.
She gave him an essential tremor.
And Virginia Giuffre, and I will summarize this. It is mentioned by Virginia that everyone owes him, presumably Jeffrey Epstein here, favors. Mr. President, were you ever in the position to owe Jeffrey Epstein a favor?
I didn't consider that. I thought we had an understanding about the airplanes, that he would let me use the airplane to set up my AIDS programs around the world if I'd agreed to talk to him for an hour about economics and politics on every long leg. I kept my word, and he seemed to honor his.
Were there any sensitive government topics ever discussed
Never.
in those conversations? And also here,
just for the
Virginia.
record, did the court reporter get his response? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sorry, I'll try not to talk over you. Wrapping up here. Virginia Giuffre is also asked in this document.
The same one you handed us?
Yes, ma'am.
So we should be looking at,
This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines down. JS is speaking. Were sexual orgies a regular occurrence on the island at Jeffrey's house? Yes.
Yeah, Pash. Oh, I made a post about what people put on their scrambled eggs. I was curious what my subs would think, so I've been getting some interesting responses. And Pash was one of the commenters on there. So recently I saw her on my post about of scrambled eggs. Besides that, I wish her well, whatever she's doing. But that's my recent interaction I had with her the other day.
My question, Mr. President, were you ever aware or engaged in any of these sexual orgies?
Hey, Zero. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Maria says it's been a couple weeks since she saw Pash. Yeah. Oh, okay. Understood. Sometimes Pash could be gone for a while. I remember that from the trials. Toss salad and scrambled eggs.
Jeez.
are these on the island where he's testified that he's
No,
not
ma'am,
been on the
I was
island?
never on the island.
Were you ever on any island in the Virgin Islands?
To travel for a trip with his wife, which is on the public record? I'm
With
sorry,
Jeffrey
what's your
Epstein?
question?
No,
You were never in the Virginia Islands,
in the
Virgin Islands
with
with
Jeffrey Epstein, no.
Jeff? Okay, thank you. Mr. President, there's been new information that has come out regarding the autopsy of Mr. Epstein. I would just like to ask you personally and directly, do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself?
Are you asking him to speculate on how Mr. Epstein died?
I'm asking what the president thinks of.
So you're asking his opinion?
Mr. President, was your friend Jeffrey Epstein
Are you
suicidal?
classifying him as a friend who he has testified that he was
has called
friendly?
him a friend in a letter.
He said he was friendly, but not, you've asked for his testimony
Mr.
here.
President, do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein was suicidal?
Do you know?
Was he ever
She's asking for the
suicidal?
best of your
I
understanding.
don't know, I only know what the medical finding was. I think maybe
If that's it.
he finally got caught, and I don't know. I've accepted it in my own mind, I don't know what happened,
Mr. President, what did you accept? That he killed himself or that he did not?
but he did, but I don't know.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Neither do
Mr.
you,
President.
we don't, none of us know, we weren't there.
Mr. President, it's been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Okay, so in this one with Willie right here, he even acknowledges that there's a chance that Epstein might be somewhere over in, not here, and probably in Israel. I'm scared. Where it seems where he may be So with Epstein, there's been documentation about how he may have been moved away and taken out of there, but only we know for sure. All right, let's continue.
in the previous hour, you discussed your relationship with Miss Maxwell, and I have a few general follow-up questions. And I may make you repeat yourself, but I'll try hard to not ask you questions you've already answered. First, can you characterize your relationship with Miss Maxwell after your presidency?
Well, I didn't, to the best of my memory, I didn't see her very much until I started flying on Mr. Epstein's airplane.
And for the record, would you at any time ever consider her to be a friend?
Oh, yes, I would.
What years would you consider her to be a friend?
I don't know, when she started going with Ted Waite, I saw her more frequently because I saw him more frequently. Then she was around CGI. So if you compare the time I spent with her to the time I spent with Mr. Epstein, I spent more time and I felt that we were better friends.
How did you typically communicate with Miss Maxwell?
When she showed up at something that I was doing or vice versa, like.
So in person?
At CGI, yeah. I bet I never talked to her on the phone more than twice in my life.
And what were the nature of your communications with Miss Maxwell?
What you recall?
I don't recall anything. I don't recall what they were, but she was always, I don't know. She was very interested in CGI. I remember that. And that's it.
And for the record, Mr. President, did you ever have any communications with Miss Maxwell related to young women or girls?
No.
At this time, I'd like to introduce what will be marked as Majority Exhibit 17. And while it's being handed out, I will note for the record that this is the transcript from the two-day Ghislaine Maxwell interview with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, conducted by the...
All right, Moki says, emails from 2002-2004 between Maxwell and Clinton's top aide, Doug Brand, shows that Brand referred to her as his social matchmaker and pimp used in flirty contexts. Exactly. It's you see, that's a perfect example of what we're talking about here, where it's deposition, he's answering his questions, but I don't really know if I believe what he's saying. Right. Thanks for the info.
Department of Justice on July 24th and 25th of 2025. And I will not be making you read the entire transcript. I will direct your attention when you've had a chance.
Okay.
Mr. President, have you seen this transcript prior to
Before?
today? Yes.
No.
I would like to direct your attention to day 1, and we are looking specifically at the bottom of page 9.
Yep.
Are you?
And-
No, we need a copy down here.
Do we have a second copy? And a third copy?
Give me 1 second. Here,
Thank you so much.
We'll
If
go
you
off the
can pause.
record briefly.
Oh wow, Moki, that's intense. Wow. The game is tied with the Knights. Okay.
We will go back on the record.
Yep.
During Ms. Maxwell's interview, she stated that President Clinton was her friend, not Epstein's friend. Is that accurate?
I'd say that it was accurate to say that I felt closer to her than to him.
And for the record, why was that?
Zero said Bill was just such a nice guy, just playing his saxophone until he met Hillary. Hilarious, Zero.
Because I had seen her more, and because she was very good friends with Evelyn Rothschild and his wife Lynn, whom I knew and was in regular touch with.
See Rothschild, right there. Talk to the Rothschild.
And then this part is in there too.
And
Okay.
You're on page 9.
That's good.
Just want to make sure you're reading the right section.
She characterized your relationship with her as warmer.
Is that
yes,
your
Would
question?
you,
wife Lynn. Whom I knew and was in regular touch with.
And then this part is in there too.
And
Okay.
You're on page 9.
That's good.
Just want to make sure you're reading the right section.
she characterized your relationship with her as warmer.
Is that
yes,
your
Would
question?
would you agree with that?
Warmer than with Jeffrey Epstein?
Correct.
oh yes, but it was not in any way sexual.
At this time, I would like to direct your attention to day 2 of the transcript, and
I have heard around about the half-black son. Not much about the theory about their kids not being theirs. That's something fascinating. But thank you, Zero, for letting us know.
now we are looking at the bottom of page 12, and it is page
I see it.
258 and 259.
This is interesting.
Wait, pardon me, sorry, I'm not with you. The bottom of page 12 says 42 to 45.
Of day 2.
Oh, sorry, I apologize.
Okay,
Day 2, page 12,
Yes.
page 252.
257 to 260, Mr. President.
Okay,
258 and 259.
okay, got it.
Can you hold
No.
for 1 second? Can you wait?
What do you have? Two 259,
Correct.
got it.
Are you asking us to read that?
Yes.
All of 258 and all of 259?
Correct.
Okay, is there part of this you want me to read?
No,
No.
he has a question. He wants to make sure you've
You
read
read
through here.
two
And you've
pages.
read through here.
Okay.
He's asking about these two. You read them? This and this. No, you don't have to read the other part yet. Ready?
Yes, got it.
Mr. President, you've had a chance to review the transcript. Here, Blanche asks Maxwell if she has ever visited your home in Chappaqua, to which Maxwell testifies that she had been invited to visit your home. For the record, did Miss Maxwell ever visit your home in Chappaqua?
It wouldn't
Excuse me,
surprise-
counsel, the transcript says, I went to the house. Does it say invited? Did I miss that?
Maxwell replies after Blanche asks,
Got it.
why
Sorry.
did you go to the
You're
house?
right.
Maxwell says, I was invited.
Got it.
I will repeat the question again. Did Miss Maxwell ever visit your home in Chappaqua?
I don't recall, but it's quite possible she did. Hillary was a senator. In the beginning, she had a lot of events there. And we knew her.
All right, thank you, Zero. Thank you, Zero. Okay. All right, so I am unmuted. I was muted for a second, so let's just start over. Okay. So Danny Lee Williams Jr., born 1985, is an Arkansas man who has long claimed to be a biological son of former President Bill Clinton, often referred to in media as his half-black son. However, this claim, unverified, and previous blood tests have ruled out Clinton as the father. Of course, you can't trust what they say about blood tests, and got the guy's name. Chelsea looks so much like. Bet your search engine will tell you who Hillary's lesbian girlfriend is, and Moki says who it is. Huma Abedin, and oh, hilarious. Okay, and Huma is Anthony Weiner's ex-wife. She's all up in the Frazzle drip stuff. Ah, so now we have to talk about the Frazzle dip. Let's see. All right, now continuing with the clip.
During the same exchange, Miss Maxwell implies that she may have been just driving past Chappaqua and stopped in if you were home. Did this ever occur?
If you don't.
Not that I remember, but I may not have been home.
But Mr. President, is it common for people to just stop by your house?
No. There
And for
are
the
more than
record-
one or two people who would do that.
So for the record, you're a former president. Does your security detail allow people to show up unannounced?
Well,
No.
they'd allow them to, but they don't. Your question is whether or not the security allows them in.
Yeah, they have to be cleared to be able to come and go
Thank you.
like that.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to ask about Doug Band and
Okay.
what was Doug Band's relationship with you, sir?
Well, it changed over time, but he was basically the last in a long line of young men. They were my sort of body people. They were close to me and supposed to get me where I was trying to go on time and all of that. And then after he and another young man, Justin Cooper, wanted to come with me when I left the White House. You know, when you leave the White House, they give you, you get, I don't know, a certain allocation for staff. And I think there are 9 positions you can put on federal health insurance. I think that's right. But anyway, Doug and Justin were 2 of them.
So it's safe to say he's pretty close.
What?
You were pretty close.
We were close, and Justin wrote my book with me, and he did all the, the clerical work, and Doug was our main fundraiser when we started off.
Okay. I would like to introduce Majority Exhibit, I believe it would be 18, which is the EFTA 02332287.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that.
So this is pretty short. This is an email from Doug Band to.
Yep, I'm familiar with it.
To GMAX, which is commonly known as Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yep.
It says, for the record, the email states, "You back? Another way to get in touch with me quicker is on my BlackBerry, actually the president's, but we share it." The email that's listed there, WJC, is that your email address? Or was that your email address?
Practically, no. That is, I never sent one email on it.
But you recognize that?
I recognized it, and I think Doug thought it would increase his cachet if he had an email with WCC on it. And
But he's asking you, is this your email, Mr. President?
no, I didn't send emails on it.
Did you share a BlackBerry?
Frazzle Drip is an extreme conspiracy theory largely popular among QAnon believers, which alleges that the snuff film exists showing Hillary Clinton allegedly and former Huma Abedin murdering a child. And Milky says the theory claims the video nicknamed Frazzle's Rest in Peace and supposedly found on Anthony Weiner's laptop depicts Clinton and Abedin in a satanic ritual. And that has to do with the adrenochrome, which they would harvest the blood from the children and from the young people and all people, really, to get this chemical that gives them life, kind of like a vampire. It's an offshot of Pizzagate, which is another conspiracy theory. That is true, Rita, right.
With Mr. Band?
Well, he says we did, but I think I finally got another BlackBerry.
But this was back before. Okay, sorry, Mr. President. This is back in. Think of the year. Look at the year, so you make sure you're answering the question.
2001.
Did you have a phone in 2000? Did you have? He's asking you, was this your BlackBerry, or did you share this BlackBerry with him?
Well, I've been out of office then 9 months.
Did you have a phone, Mr. President?
I don't think I did. I don't, anyway. But the truth is, I don't remember. I just know that I did.
Yes, and Baal worship too. And Baal, Rita, is a god from the ancient Canaanites, from the ancient Middle East. And he has horns, and they built a golden idol, and they would sacrifice their children to this god, and they would do perverted sexual things to appease it. And it's basically, in our terms, we call him the devil or Satan. That's what Baal was for the people of ancient Israel and the people of that region. They would, same thing with the Israelites, they built a golden calf statue and worshipped it because, the Israelites were falling into error because they would have a history of doing that. They would go astray from God, and God would send a prophet to bring them on the right path. So it was a time when the Israelites had an issue with keeping close to God, and the other people in that region, besides the Israelites, worshipped it too. Okay, and have I told y'all about my Anon real life story before? I have not heard of that, Zero. Not on my end. And now we're continuing.
not email.
Okay, so you did not email, how often do you send emails? Or did you send emails?
Have you ever sent an email, Mr. President?
I sent one email to John Glenn, Senator John Glenn, when he was in space at age 77. And I sent an email to the men and women aboard a U.S. ship in the Adriatic during the Kosovo War.
Have you sent any other emails, Mr. President? He's asking.
Since then, I'm not sure I've sent one.
Okay. I'd like to introduce Majority Exhibit
I
number
know that makes me
19,
a certified.
which ends in 2335030.
Well, shout out to the Knights winning on overtime. That is brilliant. Yeah, shout out to Knights victory. Okay. I was walking, Zero says he was walking his boy back to his place, and one day after I did that and got the halfway point, 13 people in Guy Fawkes masks walk up to me. I hit them with the Will Smith, y'all know the difference between you and I, have a name and it's Curse Zero. None of them spoke at all, but it took a few minutes before they just walked off. Wow, that is some epic move right there. Cool, calm, and just chill on persona. Wow, that's wild. Zero. Wow. Scared. They Curse Zero is one to reckon with.
0.
Yeah. Let me see.
One goes to,
Okay, if you're ready, I'll be happy to read it out loud. It's, again, it's from GMAX, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, I read it.
We believe, while it's redacted, having seen the unredacted files, we believe that the two is to the same email. It says, sorry to hear about the Bellsburg stuff is bad news, even worse, that it may be damaging. You know that one of my pet fears is that in London I am press toxic, so I hope that I never add to your woes in that department. If I hear anything, I will of course let you know. I could not help myself. There was one juicy little bit tidbit I did let out, the one about what a super stud that you are, and how I have a crush on you, and how you are hung like a horse. And, well, you get the picture. Hope you don't mind. Are you familiar with this email?
are you saying at the time it was sent or in the preparation for this?
At the time that it was sent, were you familiar with it?
Oh, no.
Are you familiar with it before?
Yes, it's
Okay.
now famous.
Okay, what can you tell me about your knowledge of this email?
So if his knowledge is only from when he was prepared for this hearing, that would have been with his counsel, or is that what are you asking for outside of any preparation
Let me
for
ask
this
this.
hearing?
Mr. President, do you believe that Mr. Band sent this or received this email?
I do.
Okay. So, and there's more. Let me go to the next one. Exhibit, which would be number 20.
And the answer is, I
Oh,
don't
wait a
know
minute,
about
there's
this.
no question.
Okay, at the time.
I would just ask you to clarify whether or not you're asking if he knows about these emails at the time they were sent, or if you're asking whether or not he came to learn about them in the course of preparation, just so that distinction in time is clear.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
I believe this email is also very short. It's just at the top. Again, it's from the WJC email, same one. And it says, this email is silly. I want to spank bottoms tonight.
Who's it from?
It's from the same email account, the same email that has been used before, the WJC email. What was your knowledge of Mr. Band's relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell?
I knew he was, basically, he contacted her in the same way that she represented Epstein on things. I did not know, nor did I need to know, that they had a personal relationship for
Did
a
they
while.
have a physical relationship?
Are you asking him whether or not they had a physical relationship?
You believe they had a physical relationship?
I don't know for sure.
And just to be clear, you said it, but you did not have a physical relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell?
The president's
not.
answered that question multiple
Absolutely.
times.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, and then finally, I want to move on to another question regarding the visits to the White House. Are you familiar with Mark Middleton?
Yes.
Can you describe who Mark Middleton was?
He was a young man from Arkansas who was really ambitious, wanted to go to work in Washington, wanted to have, and he knew Mac McClarty, my chief of staff, who was from Little Rock, and Bruce Lindsay, who was also from Little Rock. And he worked with us, and then later I think he became, I don't know, but maybe he became a lobbyist later, but there was a period of time when he was in a position to wave people in to the White House because he was, that was one of his jobs.
Okay. So he has been identified by multiple news sources to be the individual that most of the time was entering or signing in Jeffrey Epstein into the White Louse.
Yes.
And what role did he have specifically at that time?
He was working and, on logistical things in the White House, but there must have been someone else who he told him to let him in. Maybe Mark had I don't know if he had the authority to let people
You
in.
can only testify to what you know. He's asking, who did Mark Middleton work for in the White House?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I can find out, but
So knowing that he met with Mark Middleton or was signed in with Mark Middleton, do you have any knowledge of the content of the meetings or the topics of the meetings that Mr. Epstein would be coming for?
no, Mac never said anything to me about meeting with him.
And by Mac, do you mean Mac McClarty, the
Yeah.
chief of staff? Did he work for Mac McClarty?
Well, he might have been, but at the time, was this at the beginning of my presidency or at the end?
This would have been during the 90s at the beginning. when he was
1993 to
visiting.
1995 is what they provided before
Yeah,
the
he
period
was-
of time for the visits.
He was my first chief of staff, and then he became my special envoy to Latin America, so,
And this is Mac McClarty.
I'm McClarty, so
Okay,
it depends on, well, we could tell what he was doing if we knew when this happened.
okay. Are you aware that Mr. Middleton committed suicide?
Yes, I
In
am.
2022. He was found dead at Hefner Ranch, approximately 30 miles from his home in Little Rock. He was discovered hanging from a tree by an extension cord around his neck with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest. So he was shot and hung. Do you have any information that leads you to suspect that he did something other than commit suicide?
No,
Okay.
Do you have any concerns that this was in relation to his knowledge or relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, given the date?
But the president has
Of the
already
suicide?
testified to the fact that he was unaware that Mr. Epstein was visiting the White House. So are you asking him then as to what he would have known?
I'm asking, when you heard about the death, knowing about the things that have been, at this point, it's all over the news, seeing that he has committed suicide. Have you ever had any conversations with people about whether or not that there's any relationship between the two?
oh, no, no one's ever suggested it to me.
Okay, thank you. I yield back.
Next up, Mr.
It's really sad.
It is.
McGuire from Virginia.
He represents UVA. He represents UVA.
What about UVA?
He represents UVA.
Thank you, Mr. President, for being here. I served in Navy Special Warfare during your presidency.
Thank you.
In your opening statement, you talked about preventing future or more human trafficking in our country, and I agree with that. I think that's one of the big purposes of being here. Today, we hope we can get justice for the victims, have accountability and transparency. Just curious, have you read the Epstein files that have been released?
No. I've read many news stories about them, but I haven't read them all.
And how many Epstein files do you recall were released during the Biden administration?
I don't
If you
know.
know.
How many?
If you know.
I don't know.
0. And how many Epstein files have been released during President Trump's second term?
Again, if you know.
Thanks to the Congress and the victims, quite a number.
Over 3 million. Now, as president, you're chief of executive for the U.S., and as we get to the end of this, I'm going to ask you, what could we do to prevent, because I think that's what we all care about, is what do we do to prevent more human trafficking type stuff. So let's talk about Kevin Spacey for a second. In a June 2024 interview on Piers Morgan, Kevin Spacey recounted noticing young girls on the flight and expressed he didn't want to be around this guy, Epstein, because it felt he put the president at risk on that trip to South Africa because there were these young girls. So did Mr. Spacey ever communicate these concerns to you directly?
Not that I recall, no.
Did anyone else express similar concerns about these young people?
No.
Do you agree with Mr. Spacey's characterization that these young girls on the flight were concerned?
I'm sorry, what exactly is the characterization that Mr. Spacey gave?
That these young girls would put the president at risk?
So that's Mr. Spacey's concern. And you're asking him whether or not
Would he-
Mr.
would he agree
Spacey
with-
said that, shared that with him?
Would he, yes, would he agree with that?
I had no reason to believe that at the time.
Okay. Did you ever feel uncomfortable due to the presence of young girls on any of these flights?
When you say young girls, do you mean women who are younger than 18?
We talk about Jim Carrey, not in as much as this, but yes, with Jim Carrey, we were talking about that a little before, where it's not the same person as we knew before. The face, the eyes, and all that doesn't really match the person that we usually see as Jim Carrey. So it's some sort of a body double or switching or cloning going on here. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That's definitely also something to dive more into as well.
And so you're saying there were women younger than 18?
I'm asking.
Yeah, if you can ask that question.
Were there anybody on the flights that you can recall under age 18?
To the best of my knowledge, there was not. If there was, and I knew it, I would be uncomfortable.
That answered. All right. Did you ever speak with or otherwise engage with, well, I think you just answered, young girls on these flights, so I'll move on. Ron Burkle, do you know him?
I do.
All right. Ron Burkle commented on the Epstein is creepy. I would like to introduce Majority Exhibit. And what's number? 21, Majority Exhibit 21, page 5. The paragraph at the top of the page, the last sentence. If you would take a look at that.
Could you say what page again?
Sure, it's page 5, the paragraph at the top, the last sentence.
If you could give us a minute to read it, that'd be
Sure.
great. No, page 5,
Top
this
paragraph.
paragraph.
and more specifically, the last sentence of the top paragraph.
Yeah, I didn't know about this.
So the question would be this, I understand you didn't know anything about it, but let me ask the question. You have no memory of this occurring, correct?
Excuse me,
Excuse
are you talking about Ron Burkle saying to the president?
Well, let me read the whole thing, let me read the whole thing.
He didn't actually say, it doesn't say that.
Sources close to Burkle says he was invited by Clinton, assumed the rod was vetted, and flew home on a commercial jet after finding Epstein to be creepy. It appears if he saw that and he flew home early, but that be that as may, do you have any memory of this occurring?
I don't.
Why do you think Mr. Burkle would think Epstein is creepy?
Are you asking for
Objection,
him?
speculative, he can't know what.
I don't know,
Ron Burkle's
some
thinking.
people thought I shouldn't fly with him.
Did you witness anything unusual with Epstein that would lead you to believe that Epstein was creepy?
No, I never saw him do anything that I was suspicious of.
And you don't recall Mr. Burkle leaving the trip early to fly home commercially after
I
finding?
don't know.
Okay.
I'm surprised I don't know that.
Sure. So who else in your circle, because one of the concerns I have is how did someone who is convicted of trafficking humans, how did he infiltrate the highest level of government? If we could get to an idea or a lesson learned, we could prevent that from happening again. Who in your circle, while you were president or after in the Clinton Foundation, who else do you think we should question here?
Can I just clarify one thing? You said who had been convicted. He wasn't convicted at the time.
Epstein?
Yes,
No, I'm talking afterwards, so people that were associated with him, because
after he was
because
convicted.
one of the questions would be is, why do you think Epstein visited the White House so much?
So he was convicted in 2008,
I believe so, I believe my
and he
notes.
visited the White House in the 90s. So I'm just trying to make sure you're not speaking to before he was convicted. You're talking about after he was convicted?
So let me go back. So the thing is, he went to the White House many times, and he is connected to world leaders all over the place. Many people have resigned as a result of the Epstein files. So I'm just asking a neutral question, and that based on your experience as a world leader, what could we do to prevent predators like this from infiltrating the highest levels of the American government?
Well, when someone knows about it, should report it, and there should be a system set up to act on it.
Well, I agree with that. Is it true that in 2013, Ms. Maxwell was a guest at the Clinton Global Initiative Conference?
I don't know. When's the last year we had it?
2013 is one of the years where they're asking whether or not she was there.
I know. I'm trying to,
So you can just,
off the top of my head, I don't know.
Well, I understand that she also attended your daughter's wedding.
She did.
And so understanding now the unspeakable evil that these people committed, do you believe it was a mistake allowing them close to your family?
are you asking if he knew at the time when she was at the wedding?
Looking back,
Looking back, I had no idea. If I had known what she was doing, I would have done the right thing.
understand. Well, I think that,
But I also, keep in mind, I felt bad for Ted Waite, who was a very close friend of mine. And I never had any doubt about him, and still don't.
Roger that. Well, I think you would agree that we all want justice for the victims. We all want transparency and accountability. We want to strengthen our anti-human trafficking laws. President Trump has secured the border and gone after the cartels and even passed legislation to help human trafficking victims. What other legislation could we do, based on your experience, that would help stop trafficking in America, if not the world?
Well, first you need to ask people who know more about how people get over it. I mean, there's already been a large number of dollars put into settlements, but I think there must be damages to people that will take a lifetime to heal. So I think there needs to be a lot of study on that. And then I think the hotlines that where people make reports need to be taken seriously, and you need to follow up on them. And I think that the more we talk about it, the less likely it is that another big network will form.
Thank you for answering my questions.
I think you're doing a good, just having us talk about it is important.
Thank you.
Next will be Mr. Grofman from Wisconsin.
Can I get a time check?
You have approximately 15 minutes remaining.
What?
Approximately 15 minutes remaining.
Okay. Hello, sir.
Oh, Mr. President. It's on here.
Yes, we can hear you.
Was Jeffrey Epstein on? You apparently took 26 flights on planes connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Was he on every flight you were on?
Was he on every flight I was on? That's a good question.
If you know.
All right, so while Clinton's direct contact with Epstein ended, Maxwell remained in the Clintons' social orbit for several more years, attending the wedding, participating in Global Initiatives Conference 2013. Ted Whitest, also known as friend of the Clintons and a major donor to Clinton Foundation, he is notable for information for a former romantic relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell. Wyatt is a tech billionaire, best known for his co-founding of Gateway Incorporated. Starts chant. Bill looks around, noticing I'm the only one chanting. Oh well. Bill. Very funny. Alright, so let's go this way and for a moment. Okay. Alright, so Rita, this is the controversy with Jim Carrey. We have here. So, you see the guy looks nothing like Jim Carrey, and his eyes are bluer, greener looking. Jim Carrey's eyes are usually brown. So this is the one where people are saying it's not really Jim Carrey. It's some sort of a clone or body double of some kind right there. Right, so that's the Jim Carrey controversy.
What?
If you know, their flight manifest,
Yeah,
do you know?
There'll be a record of it, but I think he was, or certainly on most.
You think he was? Well, that's okay. Was Ghislaine Maxwell on every flight you were on, as far as you remember?
The same answer. I think she was, but there'll be a record of it.
Okay. When you took these flights, you're saying a lot of them were on behalf of your foundation or your charitable work, correct?
Yes.
Who did you normally bring on these flights? I assume, employees of the foundation, whatever.
I brought people who worked with me, especially people who would have to follow up on the fundraising or people who were involved in my AIDS work. I bought people who...
Just like I never go anywhere alone. You never went anywhere alone, right?
What? No.
We always have an
And I had the Secret Service with me. And then on occasion, I had people who had volunteered to help us and wanted to see what we were doing.
Right.
For example, I think it was on one of these trips, I think, that I had my first trip for the man who's now the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, and his wife. They helped me get started. It's all a matter of public record.
Okay. As far as on your normal trips, could you rattle off, say, the 4 or 5 people connected to your foundation who you remember were most frequently on these trips or were most important on the trips? Could you give us the names?
Well, Doug Mann, Justin Cooper, Aaron Magaziner, and I can't remember who else. I'd be glad to look.
We'll give you a couple seconds to think. I can't remember who worked for me 10 years ago, so I don't expect you. But anybody else you can think
It
of?
was 24 years ago. I'll be glad to try to find out who else left.
Okay. Well, when you were on the plane, first of all, what did the plane look like when you got on? Could you describe what it looked like?
It was at first it looked like a commercial airplane. You know, seats on both sides of the aisle. And typically our crew kind of filled it up for a few, however many people, depending on how many people we had. We had the staff and the Friends of the Foundation and people who were doing the work. Then we had
So it's like a boardroom halfway back.
and then we had the Secret Service further back, and that was it.
Okay. How would you spend your time on these flights when you go to Asia or Sub-Saharan Africa? Those are quite trips. What would you do on these trips?
We would spend a fair amount of time talking about what we were going to do at the next stop. You know, we worked a lot. Then we read a lot and we slept a lot. And we always cut out some time for card games.
I was going to ask you whether you do cards, and you beat me to the punch. What type of cards did you play?
Oh, hell and hearts.
Hearts. I used to play hearts. That's good. You said, was the Secret Service with you every time you went on these trips?
Every time.
Every time. Okay, good.
I have never signed off Secret Service protection.
Okay. Did the Secret Service, they screened all the other passengers and pilots, as far as you know?
They what?
Screen them?
Yeah, they have everybody's name and background and all that.
Okay. Now, I asked you about people who were connected to the foundation that you brought along, but I take it if they gave you an airplane and Jeffrey was on it, there were his staff too, correct?
Yeah, he had some staff on it.
Any of those people you remember, men, women?
Well, I remember Glenn was there, and there were always the other people that staff the airplane, right?
Right. I think one of the reasons you're successful is you deal with the average guy, right? You like to talk to the average guy. Did you remember the names of any of the Epstein staffers that were, serving you or that you engaged with banter about?
Well, the one we just been talking about.
Shante Davis.
Yeah, Shante. I remember her, Shante Davis.
Okay. Anybody else you talked about? Where are you from?
Oh, I talked to a lot of them. One of them was from Hawaii and was a military wife.
Okay.
I remember, but I don't remember their names after 20
Hawaiian
years.
gal? Was she Asian?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. Got a question. What you remember joining in this is kind of spread out over 4 or 5 years? Or two or 3 years, I guess, 2 years on the flight. Did you ever get to the Virgin Islands other than on these planes? Have you ever been in the U.S. Virgin Islands in your life?
Oh, yes, I worked, my foundation did a lot of work in the Virgin Islands.
And you also vacationed there as president?
Well, yeah, and when I was president, Hillary and I vacationed there, and we liked it very much.
Okay.
But when they had the hurricane in 2017, we went to the islands and tried to help. My foundation did.
Okay.
And we did a lot of work there.
Okay. We have another question. When you read about this, and obviously these files have received a lot of public attention, recently a columnist pointed out that one of the reasons this human trafficking was allowed to exist is there were lawyers, sometimes high-priced lawyers, who were able to bring I guess particularly from Eastern Europe, Eastern European girls through here, negotiate the immigration laws and such. And particularly some very high-priced famous lawyers were hired, and apparently, I don't know, they couldn't find anything better to do when they left Washington, were engaged in helping, I guess, girls that some people alleged became prostitutes get here from Eastern Europe. Could you comment on lawyers who make money bringing girls from Eastern Europe or other places around the world into prostitution, coming to this country?
Sorry, I'm just to clarify. You just want him to comment on that?
Yeah, I want you to comment. What do you think of these people?
So you're asking his
I don't
opinion.
like it.
What?
I don't like it, but I don't know much about it.
Would you think that? Would you? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting the hook. You know how it is. Saved by the bell. Well, why don't I finish that question? Do you think if lawyers help legally or illegally people come into this country for the purpose of prostitution, that they should be disbarred?
Not unless it's illegal to do it. If you passed a law which said it was illegal to provide representation, notwithstanding the constitutional right to
You
get
think they're
one,
sleazy lawyers if they
then
do it? Can
maybe
we get you to say that? Sleazy lawyers? We'll say they're sleazy.
For the record, we think lawyers are fantastic.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And lastly is Representative Langworthy from Buffalo.
Oh, my goodness. That's right. We say Buffalo, not New York.
Oh.
I love Buffalo.
You were there the day after you were acquitted, I remember.
Yeah, it said 20,000 people feel the
That was
gym.
a big
I'll
crowd.
never forget it.
Big news. Thank you very much, President.
Never forget it.
You are widely regarded across party lines as one of the most politically perceptive leaders of modern time. Your political instincts are very well documented, and your successes of your political.
And lastly is Representative Langworthy from Buffalo.
Oh, my goodness. That's right. We say Buffalo, not New York.
Oh.
I love Buffalo.
You were there the day after you were acquitted, I remember.
Yeah, it said 20,000 people feel the
That was
gym.
a big
I'll
crowd.
never forget it.
Big news. Thank you very much, President.
Never forget it.
You are widely regarded across party lines as one of the most politically perceptive leaders of modern time. Your political instincts are very well documented, and your successes of your political career are well documented. How would you describe the substance of your conversations with Jeffrey Epstein during the many hours that you spent together on the aircraft?
Well, at first, he really seemed to be like a vacuum cleaner, like he really wanted information. And there was no, to go back to the business with what do you call it, the passport, the false line. There was nothing overtly manipulative about it. He wanted to know, what did I think of derivatives trading? Did I think that the stock market was properly regulated, or did it need more? How did we have the most broadly shared prosperity in 50 years? Was it just an accident? Was it just technology? Or do we have specific policies? He wanted to know stuff like that. And it was great for the first, 2 or 3, 4 or 5 conversations. But I could tell that it was like, you guys are in politics. Don't you ever feel like sometimes somebody's talking to you and then they're just checking the box and they got to go do something else and be somebody else? That's the way I felt.
Interesting. The international travel you took with Mr. Epstein, it represented a significant investment of time and money on his behalf.
Yeah.
And I did miss the first portion of this, so if any of this is repetitive, I apologize. your arrangement was that you would spend an hour of conversation with him on topics of his choosing, and that
So he testified, just so that
I'm
you
sorry, I
know,
wasn't-
on economics and politics.
on economics and politics.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was it.
And that was the arrangement, and the rest was in-kind donation, you know, the
For
flights.
all the long haul flights, yeah. If we were gone 4 hours or more, I'd give him an hour.
Okay, did you ever ask him directly why he was willing to finance these trips and provide you with access to the plane?
I did.
So much? And what was his reaction to that
He
question?
said, I think you did a good job as president and you managed to get reelected and you're the first Democrat in 60 years that got reelected. I want to know what happened. And I want to understand it. And that was it. I mean, he never was, you know, it was never like he was trying to suck up to me or anything. He just was, it was very straightforward. But after a while, it was obvious that he had done what he intended to do, and he was kind of going through the motions, and he didn't really care about I really cared about this AIDS thing. I thought we had a chance to build something that would revolutionize the treatment of all mass illnesses. Same thing with tuberculosis and malaria, and sure enough, we did. But I thought we were on the verge of something big, and he didn't much care about it, and I had a bunch of people that did. So we went our different ways.
And as you pointed out, I mean, we're all in the political process, certainly not playing at the levels that you have in your career. But do you believe that this was, in essence, Epstein being a political junkie and looking for that association?
Yes, and I didn't know what else. All I knew was that but after we started, when I got this thing going and people could see it like a chugging engine, you know, then we had more and more people interested in helping. And I wanted to have people there that I knew were genuinely caring. I know it sounds funny, but it matters, because when you start something like this, you're going to have rough time spots, things are not going to go right, you're going to have to solve new problems. Far better to have people who are passionate about this.
So on these overseas visits, did Mr. Epstein accompany you to any of the meetings or the private dinners or the official engagements? And if he did, what capacity was he introduced?
He went to some of the meetings, and some of the dinners, but the big public dinner we did in South Africa, he did, for example. But some he didn't when it wasn't appropriate. When I had to talk to somebody about whether I thought they were following a proper legal path and trying to let us sell generic drugs and how we're going to get them. There were a lot of complicated things.
Can I get a time check?
We have like a minute left.
Did he ever seek introductions to foreign dignitaries or leaders from you?
Not that I remember.
Okay. Did he ever ask you to make phone calls on his behalf?
No, he never did. I remember that. He didn't. I mean, I would remember.
You said he was not a friend, but with that amount of travel and proximity, why wasn't he a friend and he was just an acquaintance?
Well, no, it wasn't just an acquaintance either. I felt friendly toward him, but he was, as I said in my book, odd. There was always something a little holding back, and and I could tell. It was pretty strange the way it happened. You know, Larry Summers, the president of Harvard, calls you out of the blue, says this guy wants to do it, you do it. And then I like to spend as much time as I can with people I know that I can count on. And I didn't have, honestly, I never saw anything that I knew was illegal, but I just felt I should move on, and we did.
Did you ever have any arguments or disagreements with Mr. Epstein or Miss Maxwell in the course of your travels?
Not to my knowledge.
And is there anything that you saw that he was looking to monetize the relationship that he had with you? Okay. And
Can I check the time?
I believe
Wait,
5 seconds.
And my lawyers are gonna kill me on this, but I have to say, I wanna be honest, I'm not trying to be, goody two-shoes here. I did feel closer to Ghislaine Maxwell because of Ted Wade. So I wasn't against the whole deal until I knew what they were doing.
Okay.
And by then, it was too late for me to do anything about
But
it.
I think your response is was he trying to ever monetize the relation, to your knowledge, was
To
clear.
the best of my knowledge, he never did.
Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. President.
Thank you. We will go off the record.
We can go back on the record. Mr. President, I just have a few more questions. I'll try to be as efficient as possible as we move through them. One is moving back in time just a little bit. In 1996, Maria Farmer, who was a confirmed Epstein victim, submitted information to the FBI that Jeffrey Epstein was sexually abusing minors. During your presidency, were you ever made aware of the information that Maria Farmer provided to the FBI in 1996?
No, and no.
Thank you. I'm going to move back ahead to the year 2003. There's just one international trip that I don't think we've specifically discussed yet. And that was in November of 2003, a trip to, I think, Russia and China on Mr. Epstein's plane.
That's the last one I took.
Great. So I'm going to give you, I think for us, the last piece of paper for the day, which is the flight log for that trip. And we'll mark that as Minority Exhibit L. And I'll give you a moment to receive that.
Wow,
Thank you very much.
I'd forgotten I went to Russia and China.
You went through Russia.
Huh?
You went through Russia, you're coming from Norway.
Yeah,
And for your council, that's a total of 5 trips distributed between the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 9th here on this log.
yeah, this was another one of our AIDS trips, because Ira was on it.
Yeah, so if you could just describe what you recall about the circumstances of this trip.
Can you refresh my memory about what stops were actually taken?
Yeah, the countries in question are Russia and China. I think the final stop was Beijing. I do not, off the top of my head, recall what each of these airport codes are.
It was Brussels to Oslo to Tolmagacho, Russia, to Hong Kong, Chengdu, Beijing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, let's do it again.
Brussels to Oslo, to the middle of Russia, Tolmachevo, to Hong Kong, to Chengdu, to Beijing.
Got it. We stopped in Europe, and as I remember, that we did something with Brussels as the parliamentary capital of Europe, and I think we did something with the EU, and then Oslo was important because the Norwegians had funded a project that we did for them, for the Clinton Foundation, for Russia. And they asked us to try to develop a plan for Leningrad. And we did.
What kind of plan, Mr.
An
President?
AIDS plan, because Leningrad had a very high AIDS rate because it was near the ocean and people were coming in and out. And I think that's what happened then. And then we went to China, and I had been doing a lot of work on China, and it was very interesting because the Chinese were eager to get into this and yet scared. It was very interesting. We could have been, if you were in Russia and China, you could have been in rural America on AIDS at the time. They were very reluctant to discuss this, and all hung up about it. And the Chinese, with whom I had good relations, were at the time, the national government asked me, they said they like you out in the country here. Because I had been there in 1998 and had a big trip. And he said, we want you to go out there and be photographed on state television playing with children and talking to their families about AIDS. So that's what this whole trip was about. So I was doing that. And it was, I think, I'm almost sure that's it. Because, and then we stopped in Hong Kong on the way out, right?
Yeah, Hong Kong and Beijing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that context. Is it correct that while on that trip, you did not witness or become aware of sexual abuse of any kind?
No, we were all busy as crazy, and I never saw anything like that.
Thank you. We have a few events for which we don't have exact dates. I'll ask about them one at a time. CNN has reported that in July of 2003, Ms. Maxwell co-hosted a fundraiser for your presidential library, and Mr. Epstein may have attended. We don't know whether or not you attended that event. Do you have any recollection of attending that event?
I don't. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't remember anything about it.
Thank you. An investigative journalist named Vicky Ward has claimed that Miss Maxwell accompanied you on a trip to India sometime in 2003, including to the Taj Mahal, and that you traveled for that trip on a private jet owned by billionaire Ron Burkle. Do you have any recollection of the trip I just described?
No. But I want to be forthright here. The first thing I did in the way of public service after I left office was to try to help India deal with the aftermath of the Gujarat earthquake, which happened literally 4 days after I gave up the White House. And so I called the Prime Minister of India, who was a friend of mine, and he said, I need help. I've got to build schools and hospitals, and I can't do anything in the small towns and the middle-sized towns and the rural areas. I only have the money to do something in the big cities. So I'm not saying I did or didn't do this. I have no memory. But I also I don't want to mislead anybody. We were doing tons of stuff. And we needed to finance it. So I can't say that I didn't do it.
Thank you. In your 2024 memoir, you said that by the time Epstein was arrested in 2005, that you had stopped contact with him. When do you recall being the last time that you had any kind of communication with Mr. Epstein?
The last time I remember was with him was sometime in 2003.
Attorney Brad Edwards, that's an attorney who's represented many of Mr. Epstein's survivors.
Excuse me, counsel, I believe there was a misstatement there. The book says who in 2008 had been convicted and jailed in Florida, not 2005.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that. Attorney Brad Edwards has represented many of Mr. Epstein's survivors. He claimed in a 2011 filing that he believed the Justice Department possessed some kind of correspondence from you from 2007 or 2008 on behalf of Jeffrey Epstein. At any of the various points when Mr. Epstein was under investigation, did you or any of your representatives ever submit any correspondence to the Department of Justice on his behalf?
I have no memory of that.
To your recollection or knowledge, did you or your representatives ever have any other communication with the Department of Justice regarding Jeffrey Epstein?
Not that I remember, no.
CNN has reported that in 2007, Ms. Maxwell co-hosted a fundraiser for Secretary Clinton's presidential campaign in New York City. We believe that Christina Aguilera may have performed at that event. Do you have any knowledge or recollection of attending that event?
I don't.
There was an email released as part of the DOJ files recently that suggested you may have attended a party at Ghislaine Maxwell's home in October of 2009, and that publicist Peggy Siegel, as well as Jeff Bezos, may have attended. My only question to you is whether you have any recollection of attending a party that I just described.
Is this her home in New York City?
It would be at Ms. Maxwell's home in New York City.
No, I have no memory of that at all.
Thank you. It's been widely reported that in July of 2010, Ms. Maxwell attended your daughter Chelsea's wedding in Rhinebeck, New York, and that she accompanied billionaire Ted Waite, who was, at least at the time, a family friend of yours, and you've described a little bit today. You, of course, were at that wedding as well. Do you have any specific recollection of interacting with Ms. Maxwell at that wedding?
No, I was an emotional wreck. I was just trying not to fall off the little, what do you call the pallets?
The dais?
No, the wooden, we walked on the grass with. I knew she was there, and she and Ted were there.
And what was your understanding of her relationship with Mr. Waite at the time?
Well, I thought they were together, and I think Chelsea and Mark did too, and she was there.
It's also been reported that in 2011, your advisor, Doug Band, instructed an aide to remove Ms. Maxwell from all attendance-related lists for Clinton-related events. This was reportedly in the wake of Virginia Roberts Giuffre and allegations that she made at the time against many people, including Ms. Maxwell. Do you have any memory or knowledge of Mr. Band's instructions that I just described?
I don't.
Thank you. That takes us through most of the known timeline of your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. There's just one more topic I would like to cover. That is the Clinton Global Initiative. In 2007, Mr. Epstein's lawyers claimed that he was part of the original group that conceived the Clinton Global Initiative. Would you agree with that characterization?
No.
Can you elaborate a little bit on why you would not agree with that?
I wouldn't agree with that because the first time I ever discussed what became the Clinton Global Initiative was with Doug Band and the rest of our small group on the way back from Davos. And Doug said we should have a meeting like this in New York at the opening of the UN. And we can make a lot of money because you don't have to go to Davos. You can meet all these people over here. And I said, I want to do it for an entirely different reason. It's fine if we make money, but the most important thing is that we give serious people the chance to go to meetings and actually make commitments to make positive change. I'm tired of going to meetings where everybody just bloviates and doesn't ever do a damn thing. So if we can figure out how to do that, I'm interested. And then we got, you know, a team. There was, to operationalize it, it was Doug Band, Mary Morrison, who had worked for me in the inner office at the White House, and a man named Ed Hughes, who was a wonderful young guy who stayed with us the whole 12 years. And they were working on how to stand up and do the mechanics of this. Then my job was to try to get some people who would come that people would want to hear and see, and try to, you know, make it exciting and make people actually want to make commitments. And so I think it was at that point that Ghislaine may have gotten involved. I don't know. You can ask him about it, but I'm just telling you how it began. It began with Doug said, let's do this and make money, and me saying, let's do this and make commitments.
I think the question, Mr. President, which you've answered was Jeffrey Epstein involved in the
At the time, no, not at all.
Thank you.
But I do not know what happened afterward.
It has been publicly reported that in 2006, Mr. Epstein made a $25,000 donation to the Clinton Foundation. Do you have any specific knowledge or recollection of that donation?
No, I saw it I saw that it was reported. I don't know.
Thank you. With respect to Ms. Maxwell, and you just touched on it briefly, she told DOJ last July that she was, quote, very central to the startup of the Clinton Global Initiative. Would you agree with that characterization?
I would agree that she worked hard. I now know. I didn't at the time, because I was working on the other, as I explained, I was working on a whole other part.
Yeah, see, we are in a time where so much is being released about all the conspiracy theories are on the table. It's a time of great awakening. And they were mentioning about Gilgamesh, what we've talked about in the channel, the Gilgamesh being preserved, and the technology from him being seized by the government, as the regular word is. And I think that we are in crazy times where the seals are being broken, like what the Bible says, and we have different lawmakers in there that are now asking serious questions and not being around the bush. So I think it means that we are certainly around end times, which everyone says that at different time periods, but we certainly are close to that, and we're seeing the truth being revealed. So that is my opinion. I think it is like a dream come true in a way that aliens are being talked about, these elite conspiracy theories being talked about. Like 10 years ago, I was talking about this before it was all released. So it is wild and mind-boggling to see this all come to pass. Come to pass, rather.
Part of this.
If I could ask you to limit your answer to your knowledge at the time.
At the time, I did not know it.
Thank you. The New York Times recently reported that in 2004, Ms. Maxwell arranged a $1 million payment to an events company called Publicis Group, and that the payment may have had some connection with the first Clinton Global Initiative conference in 2005. The reporting suggests that Mr. Epstein may have been involved with the payment or somehow aware of the payment. Do you have any specific memory or knowledge or recollection of the $1 million payment I just described?
No.
It's also been reported that in September of 2013, at a Clinton Global Initiative conference, Ms. Maxwell was recognized as a Commitment to Action partner for her work on behalf of the Terramar Project, which was an ocean conservation nonprofit that she founded in 2012. Do you have any memory or knowledge of that conference?
I do.
Great. Could you describe a little bit what you recall?
Yeah, because this shows you how the CGI work, not for Ghislaine, for everybody. She was still with Ted Waite, and he was still heavily involved in ocean work. So that was sort of an incentive.
Well, he says, I sometimes wonder if I'm in a simulation and the end times will all be in the end of it. Like, will I make it or not? That kind of makes you all NPCs. Is that right term? Yeah, NPC means non-player character. Yeah. Yeah, like somebody that's just like sitting on the sidelines watching while like others are being like really in the game. Like there's characters are players and characters are just NPCs that are not playing. Yes, I wonder if it's like Inception. We're like in a dream state. In some sort of simulation. Yeah. The video he was referencing to was funny and depicted everyone as Lion King animals, like, get a grip. Right. Right.
But she had organized this group whose objective was to, in effect, take two massive islands made of metal and junk out of the Atlantic. I mean, they were floating around. One of them had gotten to the Caribbean. They were floating around in all this metal. So that was what she was trying to do. That was a good idea, and she was recognized for that. The fact that she was recognized was not particularly remarkable. Everybody who makes a commitment goes through a photo line and gets recognized.
Did you have any personal role in Ms. Maxwell's recognition at that event? Or would that have
No, I
been...
might have been in her room by the time she got it, but it wasn't. No, they put the recognition in that room. I remember this specifically because it was where all the ocean freaks were, all the people that cared about this, that wanted to be. So that's why they wanted those things announced.
By
there.
ocean freaks, you mean people who are passionate about the ocean.
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean that. People who were passionate about doing this, it was great. And so I didn't think a thing about it.
Do you have any additional knowledge or recollection related to Ms. Maxwell's role at that event?
No.
Reportedly, in February of 2014, you had dinner with Ms. Maxwell and others in Los Angeles at a vegan restaurant called Crossroads Kitchen. That dinner may have been organized by your then Deputy Chief of Staff, John Davidson, perhaps around 20 guests. Do you have any recollection of the dinner I just described?
I had a lot of dinners like that in Los Angeles, so I don't remember that specific one, but whenever I went to Los Angeles, I tended to have a dinner someplace in public with a lot of my friends, just to keep in touch with them, keep going.
As far as you can recall, when was the last time you had any form of communication with Ms. Maxwell?
I think it must be a decade ago, maybe even longer, I don't know, but it was a long time.
Thank you.
Mr. President, it's a pleasure to be here, and quickly, on a lighter note, point of personal privilege, my birthday is November 5th, 1974, which shouldn't mean anything to you, but what it means is that I turned 18 2 days after the election, and I couldn't vote, and I'm still upset about that. So on behalf of my mom, I apologize, she was a little slow. President Clinton, as counsel noted at the beginning of this deposition, Donald Trump posted on social media that he wanted Attorney General Pam Bondi to investigate you and other prominent Democrats in order to distract from his own close ties to Jeffrey Epstein. That post was previously marked as Minority Exhibit B, which you already have.
Yep.
President Trump's post refers to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes against young girls and women as the Epstein hoax. His post also completely ignores several other high-profile individuals, including Republicans and allies of President Trump, who were known to have had relationships with Epstein. In fact, the Epstein files contain numerous officials in the current and previous Trump administrations who have connections to Jeffrey Epstein, including Howard Lutnick, RFK Jr., Steve Bannon,
Tom Barrett, Kevin Warsh, and Mehmet Oz, to name a few. President Clinton, to your knowledge, has the Trump administration done anything at all to investigate these other individuals with ties to Epstein?
Well, I wouldn't be in a position to know. That's the truth. As I said earlier, the only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in the early 2000s. And I have no information that he did anything wrong. I just want it all out there. I want everybody to get it all out there and let everybody see where we are.
And had you had any conversations with him since the early 2000s about this subject matter?
No.
And then my last question is, Howard Lutnick recently went so far as to lie about his close connections with Jeffrey Epstein, but the truth came out with the release of the files. President Clinton, is Howard Lutnick still employed as Secretary of Commerce in the Trump administration, to your knowledge?
I think he is.
And in your opinion, why has Donald Trump ignored these other prominent figures who've had close ties to Epstein?
He's asking your opinion, Mr. President.
Lutnick runs a big company and has made a lot of money and has supported him strongly. I don't think he believes that he's done anything bad enough to. I think he thinks he took his family to the island and he couldn't have done anything wrong. That's what I think he thinks. But I'm speculating. I'm doing what I have no business doing because I really don't know.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Thank
you. I'll speak up. Thank you, Mr. President, for being here, for your service. I'll be brief. I think most of the pertinent questions have been asked today. I want to talk about transparency. You and Secretary Clinton were both very clear about your desire to testify publicly before this committee. In fact, on February 6, 2026, you posted on social media, quote, "I will not sit idly as they use me as a prop in a closed-door kangaroo court by a Republican Party running scared. If they want answers, let's stop the games and do this the right way in a public hearing where the American people can see for themselves what this is really about." President Clinton, why do you feel it is important for you to testify before this committee in a public setting?
Because I think that first what happened with Jeffrey Epstein was horrible. What he did and what Glenn Maxwell was convicted of, it was horrible. We can't tolerate it in America and shouldn't. We ought to keep doing as Hillary talked about yesterday, try our part to get rid of that kind of trafficking around the world. Secondly, I was on the plane. It may be that I've said something today that gave you some indication that would help change policies or something. So I thought it was important. But I also think people know that there's been a little bit of zig and zag and ambivalence about, how hard this thing should be put out there. And I'm not pointing a finger at anybody or anything. I'm just saying we know that. And so I think it's important that we get it all out.
So to be clear, this committee issued a subpoena to the Department of Justice to release the full and unredacted files last summer. There's also now the Epstein Files Transparency Act that asked for the same that President Donald Trump signed into law. But still, the Department of Justice under this administration has not released all of the files, and there's been many illegal redactions. Do you think that we, of course, as Congress and the American public should get the full and unredacted files immediately?
I think unless there is some serious danger of physical harm to one of the victims, or some national security interest involving intelligence, because you've heard these, that some of you think that there's some intelligence issues, national security issues. I think the rest of it ought to be gotten out, and I think we just need to get to a point where we can put this behind us. And then I think I hope you can and will help build us a system that works in America the way our international system works best in trying to identify and stop human trafficking and trying to make people whole once they've been damaged.
And not a question, but just in response, the law is very clear about the identities of the victims.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Department of Justice has wrongfully released some of that information, including personally identifiable information, while illegally redacting names of potential co-conspirators, so.
They're gonna kill me for saying this, but I think it's important, Jesse. I think it is entirely possible that people in the Justice Department, I don't agree with on nearly anything, right? But when it's possible that they didn't intentionally cover some of this stuff up. But it's hard to accept that when you look at the other problems in dealing with the information. So you guys gotta clear that up, clean it up, decide how you think it should be handled.
Thank you.
So before we go off the record, just one clarification, it's more just for councils. The quote from the 2024 memoir, I think was accurately quoted in the first instance. The full sentence is, quote, "He," meaning Mr. Epstein, "hurt a lot of people, but I knew nothing about it. And by the time he was first arrested in 2005, I had stopped contact with him." And that's the end of the sentence. That's page 373. So that's just for council and.
My apology.
No, not at all. And with that, we can end this round and go off the record.
We'll go back on the record. Mr. President, during the last hour, there was a discussion related to your book with Minority Counsel, and I just want to read the excerpt into the record and just a quick question for clarification. You said, "I had always thought Epstein was odd, but had no inkling of the crimes he was committing. He hurt a lot of people, but I knew nothing about it, and by the time he was first arrested in 2005, I had stopped contact with him." We understand that Mr. Epstein was arrested in July of 2006. Can you explain the discrepancy?
Are you asking him to fact check his own book?
Correct.
Okay, I mean.
No,
Can you explain it or not?
I can't. I'm sorry, we made a mistake.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. President, Congresswoman Nancy Mace from South Carolina, thank you for being here with us for hours today. I know it's been a long day, and I know that we're going to wrap up soon for you. Did you know one of the witnesses who testified in the Epstein cases that Epstein said, you quote, "like them young"? Why would Epstein say that about you?
Are you asking his opinion? You're asking him to think about why Mr. Epstein would say
Correct.
something
Why
about him?
why would Epstein say that
So
about
she's
the
asking you
president?
to try to be in Mr. Epstein's mind and guess at what Mr. Epstein would have thought about.
First of
Clinton
all,
likes them young, referring to girls.
that's not true.
What's not true?
That I have any interest in underage.
I didn't say underage, I said young.
But it's still not true.
Is an intern young?
Yes,
Okay.
at my age,
Did-
anybody younger than I am
Did
is
you know
young.
Jeffrey Epstein instructed a witness to deny you were ever on his island?
He didn't have to since I was never there.
Did you ever travel to Zorro Ranch?
Is that the one in New Mexico?
Yes.
No.
Okay, have you ever flown on anyone else's private jet 26 times or more for overseas trips?
I have flown as many miles on other jets, but never.
Yeah, because she said as an intern young, she's talking about Monica right there.
With as many stops.
How many other people's planes have you used, like Epstein 26 times or miles, etc.?
I don't know. I did with Steve Bing, who's now deceased, and probably with 4 or 5 others.
Okay,
Interesting.
so maybe about a half dozen billionaires total, so. How many dinners did you have with Ghislaine Maxwell or Jeffrey Epstein in attendance?
She's asking to the best of your recollection.
I have no idea.
Okay, did you ever discuss sexual misconduct allegations made against you with Epstein or Maxwell?
Never.
Did Epstein or Maxwell ever offer to help manage or silence women who made sexual misconduct allegations against you?
No.
Did Epstein or Maxwell ever offer financial support directly or indirectly to legal defense funds related to impeachment proceedings or civil actions against you?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you think a young girl massaging a president is unusual?
So are you asking his opinion?
Well, he
You're
was
asking his
massaged by
opinion?
a young woman. I'm asking if he thinks it's unusual that a president, sitting president of the United States, leader of the free world, that
So I'm
it's
sorry,
unusual
are
a
you
young woman
speaking
would
to,
be.
are you talking to the instance of the
Yes, is it unusual that
the
a
back
young woman would be
massage
massaging?
that occurred while he was not president? I'm just trying to understand. You said a president of the United States?
Former president?
Thank you. Just trying to make sure we're correcting the
Are you
time frame.
filibustering?
No, I don't need
Okay.
to. I'm actually trying to make
I
sure
think
that
I'm
as
pretty
you,
clear. He said he
you
knows what
said he
young-
was a sitting president.
Excuse me, could we just please go one at a time? Thank you.
You said a sitting president. I want you to be clear so that when he answers
Former
you,
sitting
the
president, how
record
do
is
you want
clear.
to do it? Is it unusual?
I have no idea if it's unusual.
Objection calls for speculation.
I figured. Did you ever think that all these women around Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell was odd, unusual, weird, or creepy?
There weren't all that many around when I was there.
How many would you say is not all that many?
I think on this big plane that was working long hours, having 2 to 4 people on there, I thought was, as far as I knew, they were all helping.
Flight attendants in tank tops and jeans, right?
No,
Do you believe you were a victim of a Jeffrey Epstein intel operation? Do you think that you might have been like caught up in some of what he was maybe potentially doing?
Excuse me, Congressman, which question are you asking?
I'm asking
Intel
if the-
operation?
first of all, I don't,
Some type of intel operation. I'm just curious because it's been speculated on today and yesterday
understand.
that he may have been an intel asset. Do you think, perhaps knowing what we know now, the proclivity of it all, that he may have been targeting you as part of an intel operation?
I doubt it.
In 2019, you stated, after he was arrested, I guess this would be the second time, you stated you knew nothing of Epstein's, quote, terrible crimes since you only met, quote, briefly on only, quote, 2 occasions. Was this statement false?
Excuse me, Congressman,
That's
could you
not
put
an
in
accurate
the
statement.
record
Can you
that
please
statement?
share us what you said?
Yes, in 2019, as reported by the media,
Which media?
this says this is the,
Could you share a copy of it, please?
okay, Daily Beast. It says, the title of this is Bill Clinton failed to mention his intimate 1995 dinner with Epstein.
We can give counsel and the witness a moment to review the exhibit.
Well, we'd like the statement. I mean, he put
Yeah,
out
I
a
don't know
statement
anything about
in 2019, full statement.
And it will be marked Exhibit 22.
So to be clear, the basis of your question is a news article with respect to the Daily Beast as to a dinner. Is that accurate?
Nope, it's a question in the first paragraph, which reads, hours after Jeffrey Epstein was arraigned Monday on several sex trafficking charges, former President Bill Clinton publicly downplayed his relationship with the pedophile financier, saying he knew nothing of his terrible crimes since they only met briefly on 2 occasions.
And that's in the Daily Beast.
Correct,
that
which
not
is in
correct?
your hand right now.
Great, that's what I just said. Thank you.
Well, what would
What's
you
your
like to
question?
know?
So my question is, you stated you'd only met Jeffrey Epstein in 2019. You stated you only met him on 2 occasions. Was this statement false when you made
To
it?
be clear, this is a news reporting that is saying that that's what he
Did you
said.
make this statement in 2019?
Congressman, would you put in the statement that he made? This is a news report.
Okay.
It's double hearsay.
Did
So
you make this statement in 2019 as reported by the media?
So you're asking whether or not he made a statement to the Daily Beast?
Nope, it says, quote, it's quoting him or his office, etc. Are you denying you made this statement?
It's quoting a sentence. If you put in the entire statement, that's all we ask. To be fair, give him the statement, not somebody's report on it. I have no idea what the Daily Beast take is.
There was a statement that was released that was broader than this, and they relied on only a portion of it. They relied on only a portion of his full
And
statement.
that's the portion I'm focusing on.
Well,
He said he
then-
only was with Jeffrey
So
Epstein on
it's
2
actually a
occasions.
misrepresentation of his entire statement.
Well, can you let your client answer the question?
Well, can you ask it in a way that would make it clear that what you are
I'm being
actually
very
asking
clear. His statement said
is
he
the
met with
broader
Jeffrey
question of
Epstein.
what did he say?
He said he briefly met with him only
No,
on 2 occasions.
the Daily Beast selected that piece
So are
out.
you denying that the president made this statement?
What I'm saying is that there is an entire statement, that's the statement on which the president spoke to.
Would you like to provide it to this committee?
We're happy to provide that committee. It's
Okay,
been
I would like
publicly
to ask the president this question. Was that a false statement that you made in 2019, that you only met with Jeffrey Epstein briefly on 2 occasions?
Object to the basis of this question.
Wait.
This is, you're asking him about a news article, not the statement he
It's quoting
made.
him. It's quoting the president of the United
Quoting
States. Are you denying the president made this statement?
I'm
Are
telling
you denying he
No,
made
I'm
this statement?
telling
I
you-
want to know.
No, I'm telling you that the
Are you
president
making a
made a
false
full
statement
statement. You are selecting a piece of it. Let's put in the
My
entire
source-
statement he made.
I wasn't in federal office in 2019. I was not a part of this committee. I was a state house rep from Goose Creek, South Carolina, and I'm quoting open sources that I have. To the best of my knowledge, I'm not rich with a bunch of attorneys, okay? I'm doing the best that I can to get the information I can, and I'm asking if the president was telling a lie in 2019 when he stated to the public he'd only met with Jeffrey Epstein on 2 occasions.
He did
didn't
not
say
say
to
that
the
only
public.
in
You're
the statement,
misrepresenting.
Congresswoman Mays. Let me be clear. I'm not asking about your right to ask him any question, but don't do it on the basis of a news article. The news article is quoting his statement.
So is the news
It's
article
quoting-
lying? Is the news article
lying.
false?
It's false if you take it to mean what you say, which the statement did not do.
Do you understand English?
I
Seriously.
think I do.
I
I'm
don't
not
think
from
you
South
do.
Carolina, but I think I do.
Did you make a statement, Mr. President, in 2019 that you only met with Jeffrey Epstein twice? I'm asking a question a different way.
I have no idea, but I think that when I answer that, I don't believe I remembered anything about meeting him in 1995.
So when making a statement about Jeffrey Epstein in 2019, would you have checked with your staff on maybe White House logs about the 17 times he visited, dinners you had with him, fundraising that you did with him, fundraising dinners he was on, you were on his flights 26 times. Would you have checked with your staff before making such a statement, or would you just?
Congressman Mays, what statement are you talking about? Are you talking
This
about the
statement-
entire statement that he made in 2019?
Ms. Mays, can I just ask you
know
for
what
the
it
purpose?
is.
Ms.
I
Mays,
don't
can I
have
ask you
it
for
in
the
my
record?
Excuse me.
Ms. Mays, can I ask you for the record? Can you read the article into the record, please?
I'm not going to read the article into the record.
Well, Ms. Mays, you are indicating that this article misrepresents a piece.
You
Could
have
you read
not
the
asked
article
anybody
into
to
the
read an
record?
article into the record. I'm not going to do that. You've
Well,
not
this
done
is the
that yet.
basis
I'm not
on which
going
you're
to.
relying.
You're not in charge of me. I am quoting
I'm
from
not
this
seeking to be in
article.
charge of you, believe me, that is something I would not at all
Don't even try.
seek to be, so I want to be respectful. But I am asking, if you're asking him to speak to this, can you please put the entire article in the record?
The entire article is in the record as an exhibit. What exhibit number is this?
22.
22.
And yet,
Counselor,
It's already in the
question
record,
has been
Counselor.
clarified to reflect only the small portion of the larger statement, to whatever extent the witness is able to answer to his recollection of that portion of the statement and any preparation that occurred to make that statement.
so in other words, what you have just articulated, that the question's been clarified by Ms. Mace or by you, that what is intended is to actually only be speaking to the selected piece out of the entire statement that was released by the president's office. Is that what you're clarifying?
That's what I'm focused on, yes.
Okay. So if you read this, you really want to know is if I was at a dinner
No, I don't. My question was
that
about your
Ron
statement.
Perlman
No, sir.
gave.
No, sir. I'm not asking about that dinner. I'm asking about the statement at the beginning of the article. I would like to ask another question. Your statement in 2019 about only meeting with Jeffrey Epstein on 2 occasions briefly.
That is not
was
a
that-
correct, I'm going to object to that characterization.
I
That is
believe-
not what the statement says.
Okay, so the third
You're reading the
paragraph
Daily
down.
Beast article.
So to be
which
clear-
is a leftist rag, by the way. And on the third paragraph down, it says, in his Monday statement, Clinton said he had only, quote, one meeting with Epstein in his Harlem office in 2002, and around the same time made one brief visit to Epstein's New York apartment with a staff member and his security detail. Those are the two
That
meetings
is in
that were
addition to this.
referenced.
So the Daily Beast, Bill Clinton failed to mention his intimate dinner,
statement
1995
described
dinner
trips.
with Epstein. That's by Pilar Melendez on the 11th of July, 2019.
All right, Mr.
What?
President, your statement saying you only met with Epstein briefly twice, was that part of an effort to cover up your close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein,
Object
correct?
to the form of the question. It misstates the record.
She's asking if you were trying to mislead the public.
Oh, no.
Okay, how many times did Ghislaine Maxwell visit your home in Chappaqua?
I have no idea.
Who invited her?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how, she may have been,
Mr. President, that's it.
Okay.
Hillary had political events there.
Okay, so is it is it, to your knowledge, was she at your home in Chappaqua likely because your wife had her over for Senate events? That's what you testified earlier today, correct?
That's not what he testified, but please ask the
I would like
question as
him
to
to
what he would
clarify.
actually, thank you, I appreciate that.
I do not know, but if you are
Mr. President, if you
implying
don't
the
know.
reverse, I will volunteer something. She was never at my house in Chappaqua for any personal reasons.
I didn't say anything for anything
No,
personal.
you
I
didn't, but you had a great tone in your voice, and you're very good at it.
That's just,
Thank you, I'll take that as a compliment.
It is a compliment.
Thank you, and I did not go to Yale Law School or any law school for that matter. So yesterday, your wife testified that Ghislaine Maxwell was never at her home, and I believe you stated earlier today, you thought if she was over there, it would be for Senate.
Okay, Moki. Good night to you. Thank you for coming.
Events. So was your wife falsely testifying
Objection.
yesterday before this committee,
Mischaracterizes.
or are
So he
you?
doesn't have the benefit of his
Mischaracterizes
wife's testimony yesterday,
Secretary's-
and so unless you all are gonna provide the transcript, or you're gonna actually provide that information, he's not in a position where he could address
I
that.
believe all I said was that I didn't know
Okay.
that she had done.
You postured that maybe it was for her Senate. I'm going to have one last question, Mr. Chairman, and then you'll take over. I believe you stated today on around, and I know it's been a number of years, on around 2008, you ended, or before that, ended any communication with Jeffrey Epstein, correct?
That's
Around the time
correct.
he got arrested or right beforehand. And he was arrested for child sexual prostitution or hiring girls for sex or one girl for sex, correct? Roughly, child sexual exploitation. If you were aware in 2008 that Jeffrey Epstein was having sex with kids, and you knew of his close association with Ghislaine Maxwell, why would you still associate with Ghislaine Maxwell, who you dub essentially like your Doug Band? She was the body man to Epstein, Doug Band was the body man to you, and why would you allow Ghislaine Maxwell to associate with your daughter up until, 2004, 2015? You knew he was a bad guy, why would you allow your
So,
daughter
excuse me, what's the period in which you're saying he would have known that Jeffrey Epstein was
after
a bad guy?
2008, so up until Ghislaine Maxwell was involved with CGI until what, 2015? And we confirmed today that he had a dinner with Ghislaine Maxwell in LA in 2014, so he's still hanging out with a close associate, the closest associate to convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
But
Excuse me.
I guess my question is
Congressman,
why?
Yes, the question, excuse me, is the question why Ghislaine Maxwell came to the wedding? Is that the question?
No, I didn't even bring up the wedding.
Okay,
Why are
sorry.
you obfuscating? Why are you putting words in my mouth? You're smarter than that.
No, let me
Thank you.
finish. I think, first of all,
Okay, Rita. Good night to you. Thank you for coming. Glad you enjoyed the chat.
when the wedding occurred, she was with Ted White, and she was for several more years. We did not know when Epstein was arrested that she was still involved with him. I think that clears a lot of this up. We didn't know. And I don't want all of you to get, we're all getting in a lather. There's a logical explanation. We didn't know. And I'm sorry for what she did and what she allowed her life to become, and now she's living with it.
And I have one final short question. I promise I'm done. I was severely and heavily duped by an individual in my life about 2.5 years ago. It's very publicly and well known. You graduated from Georgetown and Yale, correct?
Yeah.
How do you think Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein duped so many powerful and smart people, fully connected, powerful people all around the world?
I really don't know. But I don't know. I've thought about it a lot. And if you can figure it out, I'd like to know, but.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Yeah.
Point of privilege?
I would like to say since you made a great deal out of all this Ivy League stuff, I'm also the last president ever to live in a place without indoor plumbing.
There's a full statement which we'll be happy to provide for the record that it might be that Representative Mace is unaware of, but the full statement says President Clinton knows nothing about the terrible crimes Jeffrey Epstein pleaded guilty to Florida some years ago, or those with which he's recently been charged. In 2002 and 2003, President Clinton took a total of 4 trips on Jeffrey Epstein's airplane, 1 to Europe, 1 to Asia, 2 to Africa, which included stops in connection with the work of the Clinton Foundation. Staff and supporters, Secret Service detail traveled with him on his trips. He had 1 meeting with Epstein in his Harlem office. 2002, around the same time, he made a brief visit to New York. That was the full statement. Ms. Mace was selecting portions out of the statement or relying on an article which only shows certain portions of the full statement.
Let's go. Ms. Luna from Florida.
Mr. President, I just wanted to do a couple of follow-ups. Regarding your personal conversations with Mr. Epstein, you said that he wanted to discuss economic and political questions. Was there ever a particular region of the world or topics that he wanted to reoccur and address?
I do remember that he was interested in the 2 places that I was setting up the AIDS work, in Asia and Africa. In Asia, he wanted to know if I thought it was going to be the Asian century and the thing would be sustainable. And in Africa, he wanted to know whether I believed that you could have broad-based prosperity there, whether they could achieve something that they'd never achieved before.
It seems that Mr. Epstein also had asked a similar question about America's prosperity and economic policy. Did you feel that when he was asking questions, particularly maybe pertaining to the regulation of our stock market and or derivative trading, did he on a number of occasions come back to that and maybe pick your brain about policy or future policy here in the United States?
No more than any other big issue. I knew that, I mean, everybody lives in New York with money, and look at, he made his money advising Les Wexner, so he had to be interested in markets.
Okay, and then I know that Ghislaine was a little bit more probably chatty with you. Did she ever share a similar interest to Mr. Epstein on economics or political topics of discussion? Were there any reoccurring topics that you felt that she wanted to focus on?
Not that I noticed.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Good.
Mr. President, we've covered a lot of topics today, and I'm going to walk through some topics we've already covered just to ask some questions for clarification.
Okay.
First, during your relationship or the time that you knew Mr. Epstein, what did you understand his job to be?
I'm not sure I knew. It was never clear to me. But he could have been living on investing the profits he'd already made. I knew he was a finance guy.
And you just testified to Les Wexner being one of his clients. Did he ever make any other representations about who his clients were?
No, but I never asked either.
During the time that you knew him, did Epstein ever provide you with financial advice?
No.
Did he ever provide you with tax advice?
No.
Did you ever personally receive money from Mr. Epstein?
No.
Did Mr. Epstein ever loan you money in your personal capacity?
Not to my knowledge.
So to be clear, did you ever exchange money with Mr. Epstein?
Not that I remember. I don't believe I did.
And throughout today's questioning, we talked about the various properties that Mr. Epstein owned. You testified to have visited the Manhattan Townhouse, is that right?
Yes, I did go there once.
And just for clarification, it's been reported and what we've seen from the files from the DOJ, Mr. Epstein decorated his home with creepy and disturbing artwork. Did you notice anything unusual as far as his decor at his
Keep in
residence?
mind, I was only on the first floor, ground floor. I did not see anything like that there in any of the rooms that I saw.
It's been reported that Mr. Epstein had cameras on his premises. Did you notice anything, any cameras at the Manhattan Townhouse?
I didn't, but that may have been the whole point.
Mr. Epstein apparently rented a property in Boston at one point. Did you ever visit that property?
No,
Did you ever visit Mr. Epstein's apartment in Paris?
no,
Did Mr. Epstein or Miss Maxwell ever invite you to his property in Paris?
no,
Did you ever visit Mr. Epstein's home in Palm Beach?
no,
Were you ever invited by Epstein or Maxwell to visit the Palm Beach property?
I don't think so.
Did you ever visit Ghislaine Maxwell's New York townhouse?
No, I don't even know that I knew she had a townhouse. I knew about the only thing that he ever said anything to me about Jeffrey was the New Mexico ranch, and I never went there.
Did he invite you to the New Mexico ranch?
Sort of.
Did
I
you-
mean, he was a little, but I didn't go. By then, I didn't go.
Was there a reason?
I don't remember, but I didn't. I think it was as we got closer to the end that he said something about it.
Mr. President, in 2005, police in Palm Beach, Florida began investigating Epstein. In July 2006, Epstein was arrested for the first time for soliciting prostitution for minors. For the record, prior to Mr. Epstein's arrest, were you aware of any investigation into Mr. Epstein?
No,
On October 20th of 2005, police executed a search warrant for Mr. Epstein's Palm Beach, Florida home. Palm Beach Detective Joseph Carey spoke out about his belief that Epstein was tipped off about the raid since multiple computers expected to be at the house were missing when the search warrant was executed. To your knowledge, was Mr. Epstein tipped off about the October 20th search warrant in Palm Beach?
Just asking to your knowledge.
I don't know. I don't know. It's the first I've heard of it.
They're only asking for your knowledge, Mr. President.
Mr. President, did you ever make any kind of attempt to influence the media's coverage of Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
At this time, I'd like to introduce what we've marked as Majority Exhibit 23. And this is Bates number EFTA 02792895.
One page.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Who's Shaza? I don't even know who that is.
And this is email from Virginia Giuffre, an Epstein victim, that alleged that you walked into Van.
Good night, Saw Girl. Thank you for coming.
Vanity Fair and threatened them not to write sex trafficking articles about your good friend Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. President, is this true?
No. No. Not no, hell no, not close, no.
Why do you think Ms. Giuffre would make these claims?
Are you asking to have an opinion
I don't
about
know,
Ms.
but-
Giuffre's point of mine? Can we not do that? Like, ask him about the facts that he knows, as opposed to asking about the facts in other people's minds.
Mr. President, have you ever asked any other publication to shut down a story related to Mr. Epstein?
No.
And by any other publication, counsel, he's answered the question about Vanity Fair, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
I absolutely didn't.
Okay.
No.
That was hell no.
Mr. President, did you ever advocate for or suggest leniency in Epstein's case to any government officials, including those in the Department of Justice or Florida State Attorney's Office?
No.
On June 30th of 2008, Epstein pleaded guilty in Palm Beach County, Florida State Court to 2 felony charges, 1 count of solicitation of prostitution and 1 count of procurement of a person under 18 for prostitution. He was subsequently sentenced to 18 months in Florida County Jail and began serving his sentence on June 30th of 2008. To be clear, you have not had any direct contact with Epstein after his arrest in 2006, is that right?
That's correct.
After his arrest or after the publication of when he went to jail in 2008? Can you just clarify the dates there?
I will ask another question. To be clear, you have not had any direct contact with Epstein after his arrest and when he was incarcerated in 2008.
Yes, to the best of my memory, that's correct.
Are you aware of any effort by Epstein to contact you while he was incarcerated in Florida?
I'm not.
Mr. President, who is Arnold Paul Prosperi?
I think that he's a son of a guy I went to Georgetown with, named Paul Prosperi. I think that's right. And I saw in all these things that my staff gave me that he was mentioned, but I don't think anybody said anything to me. I have no memory of that.
So is it your testimony today that and actually, let me back up here. So according to jail logs, Mr. Prosperi visited Epstein at least 20 times while Epstein was incarcerated in Palm Beach County Jail between 2008 and 2009. Based on what you just said, is it your testimony that you believe that to be the son of the man you went to college with?
It could be. But he didn't talk to me.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week, Lex Wexner testified that Jeffrey Epstein often name-dropped powerful people to give himself an air of credibility. Did he ever do that to you? Brag about people he knew in high places, kings, princes?
Yeah, he did a little bit.
Okay. Going back to what was mentioned earlier about the search warrant on October 20th in Palm Beach for Jeffrey Epstein. Mrs. Clinton testified yesterday. I think she mentioned that it appears he got a sweetheart plea deal, and I don't think anyone on this committee would disagree with that when Alex Acosta was the U.S. attorney down there. And we've already deposed Mr. Acosta, and we've got the transcripts and everything. There's a lot of speculation, as had been mentioned, that he may have been tipped off prior to the search warrant, that Epstein may have been tipped off. Are you aware that whether or not Sandy Berger may have tipped off Jeffrey Epstein?
The president just testified that he was unaware that anybody had been tipped off. So are you asking him to?
This explains why I was asked yesterday about him. But no, I know nothing about that, and I wouldn't.
Mr. Epstein was indicted by a grand jury on July 19th, 2006. According to an IRS Form 990 filed by the COUQ Foundation, a known Epstein entity, Mr. Epstein donated $25,000 to the William J. Clinton Foundation 1 day prior to Mr. Epstein's indictment. Are you aware of this donation?
I know that they tell me that the records showed that he'd given $25,000.
When did you become aware of that, Mr. President? Were you aware of that then or in preparation?
No, now. I mean, when I was preparing for this.
Yes, sir. Did you solicit that donation from Mr. Epstein?
Not personally, I didn't know.
Did someone else solicit it?
I have no idea.
Do you know why Mr. Epstein made that donation?
He's asking you to speculate about what
No,
Mr.
I don't.
Epstein would be thinking.
We try to raise a fair amount of money every year to pay the bills.
It seems to me that as investigators were narrowing in on Mr. Epstein, he may have been trying to earn some goodwill with you. What do you think about that?
It wouldn't work.
Right. Did it ever seem to you that Jeffrey Epstein was trying to suck up to you or get on your good side in order to further his schemes?
No, I didn't think about it that way. I thought he wanted to do what he said. But he was, very idiosyncratic.
Right. After his arrest in 2006, did you have any further contact with Mr. Epstein?
I don't believe I did, no.
Did anyone affiliated with Epstein, including Ms. Maxwell, contact you on behalf of Jeffrey Epstein to discuss his arrest and the allegations against him?
No.
Did they ever ask, either Jeffrey Epstein or Ms. Maxwell ever ask you for their assistance once Epstein was in trouble?
No.
Or once Ms. Maxwell was in trouble?
No.
Did Jeffrey Epstein ever attempt to contact you while he was incarcerated in Florida?
No.
He didn't attempt ever to contact you?
Not as far as I know, no.
Yesterday, during the deposition of Secretary Clinton, she suggested that we follow the money with Epstein, because there's a big question: how did he accumulate so much wealth? And I think you had testified earlier, and if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me, that you didn't really know how he made his money. I mean, he had a big plane, and
I knew that he had made an extraordinary amount of money from Les Wexner, who was quite wealthy. I had no idea whether he had made enough to support the lifestyle that I saw.
And I assume you're aware Mr. Wexner testified under oath that he acted like he really didn't know Jeffrey Epstein very well, and which is kind of hard to believe because he paid him a lot of money and
Yeah, he made him.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah. Well, one of the things when we concluded the deposition yesterday, we asked Secretary Clinton, for her advice moving forward in the investigation. And with respect to a statement she said yesterday, it was something that we've done on the committee, the majority has done on the committee. In the past, we followed the money. We've subpoenaed bank records. We've subpoenaed suspicious activity reports from Treasury. Those were some of the things Ms. Clinton suggested. And in order to do that, obviously, we have to subpoena banks, specific banks for specific accounts. Do you ever recall in the conversations you had with Mr. Epstein any particular bank that he was affiliated with, or any particular big banks that maybe he had deals going?
No. He never asked me about that.
Okay.
And with that, we can go off the record.
We can go back on the record. Mr. President, I just wanted to clarify one thing from the previous round. Our understanding of your testimony today is that with respect to the dinner with Ms. Maxwell in Los Angeles, you were not actually sure whether or not that dinner occurred.
That's
Is that
correct.
correct? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. As we start to close, is there anything you would like to add or clarify about what you've said here today?
You're good.
Well,
You're good.
I think we're fine. I'm struggling because it's hard to know exactly what I knew when I knew it, given what I've learned since. It's become a kind of a compelling challenge, but I've tried to tell you what I knew then, and when you ask what I think now, I think you have, all of you, Mr. Chairman, you've had a chronologically challenging thing. You've got all the stuff that happened with Jeffrey Epstein, some of it as regards to President Trump going back to the late 90s. And that's a long time ago. And then what we learned later, it's been difficult. But I have enjoyed it. You've been very respectful to me and given me a chance to talk to you.
Well, we thank you for your time.
And I wish you well. I still will say, if you can think of some things to do that will reduce the incidence of trafficking in America, and it should be possible for us to virtually eliminate underage abuse. It should be. We just got to figure out what kind of technology we need and what kind of policies. So thank you.
And the answers that you've provided today are to the best of your recollection. Is that correct?
Yeah, the answers I provided today are what I believed at the time and what I think was in my heart, including about previous testimony.
Great, thank you. Unless there's anything else you would like to share, we can go off the record.
All right, and that is the deposition over with. Okay. Okay, everybody, that is it for the deposition. Thank you all for watching and coming, and peace.